In an accident, Li Nan traveled to an apocalyptic world. This world is in chaos, filled with wasteland left behind by war. Food cannot be cultivated, water cannot be consumed, and even air cannot be breathed. What was once common has become expensive. And once expensive jewelry, gold, and even the technology and talent that changed the world have become cheap. A bottle of canned food and a bottle of water can make the most stingy people give their treasures without hesitation, and make the most cowardly give their lives. While feeling emotional, Li Nan realized that this seemed like a business opportunity for himself, who could travel through two different time and space. Chapter 1. A blood case caused by a bottle of water. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What is this? A rugged man held a bottle of ice cream with a torn label and asked Li Nan a strange question. Pure water, for drinking. Li Nan tried to suppress his restlessness and maintain his rationality. Under normal circumstances, it is difficult for Li Nan to patiently answer such low-energy questions when asked by an adult male. But at this moment, he had to do so because the man was holding a pistol with the black muzzle aimed at Li Nan's head. Take a sip. The man threw the mineral water at Li Nan. The water inside is clean and free of impurities. The man smelled it and there was no odor, like high-quality pure water. It seems that Li Nan did not deceive him. But what made him suspicious was the container for water, a soft and transparent bottle he had never seen before. Okay, Li Nan breathed a sigh of relief. Being able to make a request means there is currently no risk of being exposed. This is the end of the world, and it's normal for a person to have a headshot if they don't agree. He has already witnessed several headshot incidents. Under the man's gaze, Li Nan took the water bottle and took a big gulp. Apart from being refreshed, there are no abnormalities. It's strange if there are abnormalities, it's just a regular bottle of pure water for 1 yuan. Look, I'm not lying to you, it's just ordinary water, Li Nan said. Before he could finish speaking, the man snatched the ice dew from Li Nan's hand. Do you still have this kind of water? He asked. Yes, I still have 5 bottles in my backpack, Li Nan answered truthfully. These 5 bottles of water were originally his trade items for this post-apocalyptic world. If you let me go, I can always provide you with such pure water. I have a channel, he quickly added. The apocalyptic principle is that only those who can provide value are qualified to live. Can you keep providing? The man asked. Li Nan's self-worth proof seems to have played a role. That's right, besides water, I can also bring food, I have channels, Li Nan tried to persuade the man. Water and food are extremely tempting things for the vast majority of wasteland people, and Li Nan believes that there is no exception to this wasteland person across from him. Now Li Nan is thinking about how to make the wasteland person in front of him believe that he really has channels. What would be his reaction if he were to reveal the truth that his so-called channel refers to bringing goods from another world? Li Nan couldn't help but worry about the imagination of this waster. If your imagination is not enough, you may be shot in the head as a lunatic. Forget it, let's create a reliable channel that sounds reliable. What should I write? By the way, just say that you are a traveling salesman from the new California Free State. This identity sounds a bit more reliable than, I come from another world, I believe you have channels. Just as Li Nan racked his brains to come up with some reliable explanation, the man smiled. Who? Li Nan finally breathed a sigh of relief. Of course, the college has channels. However, I would rather see you die than trade with you, college dog. Accompanied by Li Nan's confusion, the man's finger pulled the trigger and with a bang, the gun rang. College dog. I'm not a college dog. Before the gunshot, Li Nan tried to explain to the man. With this gunshot, everything came to an end. I just died like this. Not willing to accept. It's completely different from what was imagined. After realizing that he could travel through time, Li Nan had a plan in his mind to become rich and change his destiny. He plans to bring water, food, and daily necessities from his native world here for sale in exchange for high-value items such as gold, weapons, nuclear materials, and so on. The exchanged items are then monetized into money in the native world, which then wholesales water, food, and daily necessities in a circular operation to obtain huge wealth. Ideals are full, but reality is bone-like. Forget it, maybe it's because I didn't get the script for the protagonist. Li Nan quickly let go of his feelings. He, who is approaching his 30s, has no wife or children, and his parents passed away early, making it easy for him to let go. It's Yuan, hello. Just as Li Nan was daydreaming about his death, a voice came to his ear. The beautiful European and American female voice. Don't keep standing. This voice pulled Li Nan out of his hair, and his 5 senses also resumed. He smelled a foul-smelling liquid and then found that his eyes were covered in the liquid. Through this sticky liquid, Li Nan saw the owner of the voice. A blonde girl wearing a light gray combat uniform. I'm not dead. Upon seeing this young girl, Li Nan immediately reacted and blurted out, with the ecstasy of surviving the disaster. No, the girl picked up the unfinished bottle of ice cream from a fresh corpse on the ground with its head blown out, and took a big gulp, revealing a drunken expression. I didn't expect such clean and pure water here, she said with a satisfied expression, as if intoxicated by the water. At this moment, Li Nan was vigorously rubbing his face, trying to wipe off the sticky and unknown liquid that had a foul odor. Sorry, I'm too busy drinking water. The blonde girl finished her water and took out a kettle from her waist, handing it to Li Nan. Let's wash it. Although it's not as pure as the water you brought, it's slightly radiant water, but it's enough to wash your face. Don't worry about radiation sickness. Taking the kettle, pouring some water, washing away the unidentified liquid on my face, and returning to my long-lost sight. Seeing the fresh corpse with a blossoming head on the ground, Li Nan immediately thought of what the unknown liquid on his face was. His stomach churned and he vomited, almost spitting out all the sour water. Is it better? The girl looked concerned. It's better, thank you. I'm not from the college, Li Nan said immediately after restoring his language function. This is very important. The college is a mysterious organization in this world, composed of a group of scientists. They have a very bad reputation in this area and often arrest the residents here for evil human experiments. In this area, the college is almost hated by everyone. Just now, Li Nan was almost killed by someone who treated him as a college. It is rumored that the people in the college possess higher technology than the wasteland people. They dress differently from the wasteland people and use things that are not common in the wasteland. Li Nan suddenly realized that being considered a member of the college was most likely due to the ice dew bottle. Ice and dew bottles, which are soft plastics, can be seen everywhere in the real world, but they do not even exist here. This is not because the ultimate war caused the disappearance of soft plastics. Even if a war of destruction breaks out in the native world, it is impossible to dispose of all plastic bottles completely. After all, for the rest of their lives, the wasteland people can always find pre-war plastic bottles. The fact that wasteland people are so unfamiliar with plastic bottles indicates that this kind of thing has never been popularized in this world. This phenomenon is not too surprising for Li Nan, who has lived here for a period of time. He had long realized that this world was already different from the original world before the war. After learning some pre-war knowledge from the abandoned natives, Li Nan found that this world was a parallel sister's world of the original world. The most significant impact was that the United States became a confederation. The butterfly effect caused by this event is that the technology tree in this world is different from the native world. This world was almost stagnant in the 1950s in terms of entertainment and cultural products, but it was significantly ahead of the native world in terms of weapon development and energy utilization. The world experienced a serious energy crisis in 2066. Fortunately, under pressure, humanity has led to rapid development in the field of nuclear energy applications. In 2076, after 10 years of development, significant breakthroughs were made in the miniaturization of nuclear energy. The middle class can now drive nuclear-powered cars powered by fusion batteries. However, such a scenario did not last long. In 2077, with the outbreak of the Ultimate War, everything disappeared with the smoke of human civilization, leaving only a wasteland. The destruction of native human civilization, the survival of humans struggling to survive in a wasteland, and civilization slowly rebuilding. Until 2177, the 100th year after the end of the Ultimate War, civilization underwent slow reconstruction. In some areas of abandoned land, humans have regained control of order and nature, and developed various civilizations from settlements to countries. These reconstructed civilizations also possess resources and wealth, and some regions can even be described as prosperous. But due to the extensive pollution of the natural environment caused by waste soil and the permanent climate damage caused by war, food and water are still scarce things for waste people. This year, Li Nan traveled to this world. He quickly realized that clean food and water were very valuable here, and could be exchanged for a large number of high-value items in the native world. So he started trying to sell goods on both sides and successfully completed several transactions, tasting some sweetness. At this moment, Li Nan had already dreamed of becoming rich, completely forgetting the danger of this world and being targeted by others without any knowledge. So, are you a businessman from a secret civilization area with distorted technology? The blonde girl looked at Li Nan with suspicion after listening to a lot of self-narratives. Yes, I'm not from the college. Li Nan looked nervously at the blonde girl. He had no doubt that if this girl didn't believe him, she would explode her head in the next second. The brain splattering of that unlucky guy on the ground is evidence. But the story I hastily made up doesn't have much persuasiveness. Forget it, believe it or not, let it be fate. The blonde girl scrutinized Li Nan up and down, pondered for 2 seconds, and then put away the gun. There's only this possibility. I've been following you for a few days, and you're not from the academy. The world is really wonderful. Surprisingly, someone has made this rare plastic into a water container. She then played with the soft plastic bottle on the icy road. Do you know it's plastic? Li Nan felt a bit strange, as it was the first time he had heard the word plastic in this world. Of course, I'm not like these rural bumpkins from the old capital district. Plastic is rare, but it's not to the point of rarity. I repaired the X.01 power armor in the new California Free State, and it has plastic parts, but it's hard plastic. I've never seen such soft plastic before. And, it's used to hold water. The girl held her chin and seemed to be thinking, have you already mass-produced plastic there? There is a production line like this, which was pre-war technology, Li Nan answered cautiously. It's really foolish to sell this thing, the girl playfully mocked Li Nan. Fortunately, it's just a predator. If the Steel Brotherhood or the extremist group like Anchorage find out, not only you, but your entire civilized area will suffer too. After being mocked, Li Nan did not get angry, and he also felt that he was really stupid. He has heard of the Steel Brotherhood and Anchorage, 2 organizations that attempt to rebuild their ideal order in wasteland through mutual aid, while the other attempts to purify all polluted humans through physical means. Although there are significant differences, both have 2 commonalities. They both attempt to monopolize technology and are very unfriendly to other forces. What's even more troubling for the wasteland people is that both organizations are quite powerful, and once they target them, it's almost a disaster. However, the girl in front of me may not necessarily be of any kind. She followed Li Nan for several days. What is her purpose? Li Nan, who had just experienced the brink of death, was exceptionally clear-headed and did not let his guard down due to the beauty of the young girl. But you're lucky enough to meet me, Mississippi. Ollie seemed to have guessed Li Nan's thoughts and reached out his hand. My name is Ollie. I used to be a postman from Mojave, but now I'm planning to transform into a wasteland merchant. Uncle, do you think you have a pure water channel? How is your business? Do you want to cooperate with me? Ollie blinked, turned the gun in her hand, and extended her hand to Li Nan. Chapter 2. Bottle Cap Money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Uncle. Have I grown up like this? Okay, the girl in front of him has a face that is too young compared to him, looking 10 years younger than him. It's not a big problem to call her uncle. This year, Li Nan has aged quite a bit. For him, it was an extraordinary year. Recently, he lost his job due to an accident. On the night he lost his job, he drank too much alcohol. While borrowing alcohol to relieve his worries and his mind was not clear enough, his second-hand phone unexpectedly popped up an app advertisement. Do you want to change your destiny? The advertisement wrote. If it were normal, Li Nan would definitely cross it off as a garbage advertisement without hesitation. Garbage advertising, at first glance, is a scam. But that day he not only drank a lot of alcohol, but also had a bad mood after losing his job. He became curious about this junk advertisement. Anyway, I don't have any balance in my account. Can you still trick the amount on my bank card into being negative? With this idea in mind, he clicked on download. The signal in Li Nan's place is often not good, but that time, something went wrong and the download speed was outrageously fast. With just a swipe of the app, the download was completed. When I clicked on the app, a blue doll appeared on the interface, with a thumbs up at him and a hand reading, "Do you want to change your destiny?" Yes, no. No chat. Li Nan roast, but his hand couldn't help pointing to the right. After clicking yes, the second interface popped up again. Insufficient balance, would you like to recharge 1 meow coin? Meow money. Is this any new virtual currency? Or some new type of fraud? Li Nan became alert. Under the influence of alcohol, Li Nan decided to continue exploring and see what tricks this app had. He clicked yes, hoping to know about these scammers. In an instant, the doll on the screen gave him a seductive smile. Then, the app crashed. Suddenly, a strong sense of unease quietly grew in my mind. A few lines of text gradually appeared on the mobile phone screen. Dear user, the loan you applied for has been approved by Loboco Technology Finance Company. Payment successful. Congratulations on becoming a valued Black Card member of Loboco Technology Financial Company. The plane shuttle project has been approved. The first plane shuttle is starting. Ding. Successful shuttle. Hello, have you thought about it for so long? A voice urged, slightly dissatisfied. Li Nan regained his senses and smiled awkwardly. Sorry, I was a bit distracted just now. What did you ask me earlier? Collaboration. I want to collaborate with you to do business. Uncle, are you getting old and have a bad memory? You won't even forget the name I just told you, will you? Ah, I haven't forgotten that, Li Nan quickly replied. Your name is AI. AI she, right. It's Ollie. The other party was speechless for a moment. Oh, yes, Ollie. Li Nan patted his forehead, I remember. You're Mojave's postman, right? I almost went with you before. Li Nan tried to shift the topic to ease the awkwardness. However, on the other hand, if he hadn't encountered the situation of traveling through time, he had seriously considered becoming a courier or delivery person. If he were to run Didi, he wouldn't have the capital to buy a car. That's really a coincidence. Ollie curled her lips and rolled her eyes, saying, Uncle, don't get too close. Answer my question just now, should we work together to make money? Even if we don't work together, even if a girl has already told you her name, should you politely respond and say your name? My name is Li Nan, he replied. Upon hearing the name, a hint of surprise flashed in Ellie's eyes as she said, what a rare and authentic name from the Yangtze people. Have your ancestors participated in the Battle of Anchorage in Alaska? People with black eyes and yellow skin are not uncommon in this world, but there are relatively few authentic names like Li Nan from Yangtze. Usually, she sees names like Bruce Lee or Thomas Liu. Li Nan shook his head without hesitation and said, "No. My ancestors never participated in that battle. I am not a person in this position, so my ancestors naturally did not participate in these battles. On the other hand, it is unlikely that one would have the opportunity to participate in the Battle of Anchorage if they were from this dimensional world." The Battle of Anchorage took place in 2076, during a battle in Alaska between the Yangtze and Starstick kingdoms. In 2076, Li Nan had just passed his 80th birthday and it was a bit excessive to participate in the battle. Thinking of this, I glanced at Ollie in front of me. It's 2177 years old now, maybe more than 150 years younger than myself. Have you ever had a great-grandson? He couldn't help but show a hint of love in his eyes. However, this expression was keenly captured by Ollie. She looked at Li Nan with some regret and said, "Hey, what does your expression on this old man mean?" Li Nan quickly withdrew his thoughts and put on a nonchalant expression, "Oh, it's nothing, just something interesting suddenly came to mind." "Don't think." Ollie blushed, seeming a bit embarrassed and angry, and glared at him. "You misunderstood." "What was misunderstood?" "Nothing." "Nothing," Li Nan closed his mouth. Based on years of experience, this kind of thing becomes increasingly difficult to explain. Can't you tell her that you don't have much interest compared to yourself when you're younger? Don't think too much, in his eyes, the cute little girl is nothing but cute. It's probably not that I'm going to get shot in the head. For a girl, if you have thoughts about her, she can only scold you with a disgusting and slightly angry remark. But if you say sorry to her, "I have no idea about you," it will cause anger. Ollie saw Li Nan's hesitant expression and mistakenly thought he was feeling guilty, so she snorted proudly, "I dare not have any ulterior motives." She even shook off her non-existent double ponytails. Li Nan rubbed his nose with some confusion, then coughed twice to shift the topic and said, "Ahem. You just said my ancestors participated in the Battle of Anchorage, right?" "That's right," Ollie nodded and replied. "Why is it so certain?" Li Nan is very interested in the history of this world, especially about major historical events such as the Battle of Anchorage. He hopes to learn more about this history from Ollie's mouth. 100 years ago, during the Resource War, the state of Starjo took extreme measures by building a large number of concentration camps to centralize the management of the Yangtze people in Starjo. This action led to a sharp decrease in the number of Yangtze people in Starjo, and only those who made significant contributions to Starjo were able to stay. However, these surviving people, in order to avoid trouble, hardly used pure Yangtze names. Ollie pushed her non-existent glasses and earnestly educated Li Nan on historical knowledge. After hearing this, Li Nan frowned and said, "What does this have to do with whether my ancestors participated in the Battle of Anchorage? According to your statement, names like mine should have disappeared long ago." Ellie nodded and said, "Well, that's usually the case. However, besides the Yangtze people who are centrally managed, there is also another group of Yangtze people in Starjo. The soldiers who participated in the Battle of Anchorage and infiltrated Starjo. Due to the sudden outbreak of the Ultimate War, these soldiers did not have time to evacuate and could only stay in Starjo. Unlike those Yangtze people, they gave their descendants pure Yangtze names. So it is." Li Nan suddenly realized and couldn't help but admire Ali's historical knowledge. After pondering for a moment, he said, "According to your statement, we were enemies of life and death 100 years ago." He deliberately avoided the words ancestors. After all, calling someone so much younger than himself an ancestor was quite indescribable. After hearing this, Ollie did not get angry or excited, but calmly replied, "That's right. If it were 100 years ago, I would definitely have exploded your head without hesitation. But fortunately, the war has already ended, and the enmity between the Star and Yangtze kingdoms has long been extinguished. When she said these words, it seemed as if she was there, as if she had truly experienced that war. Speaking of which, Li Nan suddenly realized that there are indeed humans in this world who have lived for over 100 years. They are called ghouls. These ghouls are survivors of the century of disasters, who have not died after experiencing radiation and biological pollution, but have mutated into another type of creature. They have an extremely long lifespan, a radiation-free physique, and maintain their original intelligence and rationality. However, such changes are not without costs. Their bodies will become dry and wrinkled, becoming monster-like beings. But looking at Ollie in front of him, Li Nan couldn't connect her with those terrifying ghosts. Her face is full and round, full of collagen, and even has a cute touch of baby fat. Ghosts. How could it be? The old world was destroyed in the ultimate war, but the war never ended. On the contrary, it became even more diverse, with mutants, ghouls, humans, wasters, raiders, and gunmen fighting back and forth every day, and even delivering a package would be fatal. It's really a headache. Who likes to fight back and forth so much? Ollie continued to tell the story of war, sighing, as she couldn't help but sigh, feeling somewhat helpless about this world full of disputes. After hearing this, Li Nan nodded deeply and said, "Yes, the world is not peaceful. But then again." He paused. "We seem to be off topic. Didn't you say you wanted to talk to me about business before?" "Ah. That's right." Ollie patted her forehead and pretended to cough twice to conceal her embarrassment. "Uncle, I want to collaborate with you on the pure water business on waste soil. I've been observing you for a few days and found that you have high-quality pure water for sale. Normally, pure water should be selling well here, but I've noticed that you're not very interested in trading with people around you. Why is that?" Li Nan explained, "Mainly because the things they trade with me are not what I want. When trading with locals, they usually exchange firearms, bullets, and other items for pure water." Although Li Nan had previously exchanged 12 bottles of Ice Road for a Desert Eagle and 750 AE bullets, his interest in weapons and equipment was not significant. What he urgently wants to do now is to make money because he is on the verge of bankruptcy. And even if you have a gun, it may not be able to be used well. He almost dislocated after attempting to shoot a Desert Eagle, and as for hitting the target, it's even more up to him. After listening, Ollie nodded thoughtfully and said, "That's it. So what do you want?" "A bottle cap." She grabbed a colorful metal bottle cap and handed it to Li Nan to see. These bottle caps are not for her to joke or make fun of. In this wasteland world, nuclear cola bottle caps have become a form of small currency. The glass bottle cap of nuclear cola, a popular beverage on the entire continent before the war, became scarce after the war due to technological limitations that could not be replicated. Therefore, they are treated as general equivalents and used as monetary units for transactions. It is said that in the free state of New California, there is a pure water plant that will recycle this nuclear cola bottle cap to make glass bottled pure water. However, this news is only a rumor for Li Nan, and he has not had the opportunity to personally confirm it. However, one thing is certain. In this wasteland area, the bottle cap of nuclear cola is indeed widely recognized as a currency. "I won't accept bottle caps for now," Li Nan said, taking out a cloth bag filled with bottle caps from his pocket, which was obtained from several previous transactions. "In our place, these bottle caps are of little value, just ordinary garbage. What I need now is something more practical." The price of a bottle of pure water is about 20 bottle caps, and Li Nan has accumulated hundreds of bottle caps through previous transactions. However, for him now, these bottle caps are not of much use because he cannot find anything worth bringing back to the native world to sell in the surrounding settlements. "Okay, since you don't even want a bottle cap." Ellie shrugged, "So what do you want?" "Gold, jewelry, nuclear materials," Li Nan replied without hesitation, but it's best to be gold. What I need the most now is this. In the native world, gold is the most easily monetized precious metal. Gold. Ollie scratched her head, it's a bit difficult. I rarely see anyone owning gold. It's really strange, Li Nan frowned. Normally, it should be easy to get gold in the apocalypse, but the situation here seems completely different. I haven't even seen the shadow of gold in the places I've been running through. Well, I also noticed this issue for a while, Ellie nodded. I can't explain the specific reason clearly. However, she changed her tone, although I don't have gold in my hands now, gold was not uncommon during the pre-war period. Before the war. Unfortunately, we cannot travel back to before the war, Li Nan said with a bitter smile. No, there's a place where we can temporarily travel back to before the war, Ollie said with a mysterious smile as a joke. The radiation zone. Those places haven't been dared to go for 100 years, so the environment inside is not much different from before the war. Recently, I received intelligence that the radiation concentration in the wealthy area of Bansidel had decreased before the war. Should we try our luck? Maybe there's the gold you want there. And recently, I accidentally got a key to one of the villa safes. Chapter 3. Picking up a villa. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Pre-war villas were a great place for treasure hunting, and the old capital area was the most heavily bombed area during the war, with high radiation concentrations. The unexplored area is much more abundant than other low radiation areas, making it a great place for treasure hunting. I don't intend to be a scavenger, it's too dangerous. Li Nan tried to reject the proposal, as scavengers are one of the most dangerous professions in this wasteland, with a high mortality rate. Dangerous. Ellie rolled her eyes disapprovingly. Is there a profession in wasteland that is not dangerous? Uncle, you said you want to do business, right? Merchants are not dangerous anymore. There are no fewer merchants who die on the road than scavengers. If you only want to make money safely, then I advise you to go back home. Li Nan was momentarily stuttered by Ali's words. There is indeed no absolutely safe haven on this land. Opportunities and risks always accompany each other, and in order to obtain returns, one must bear the corresponding risks. Okay, he finally made up his mind, do you have a map? Of course there is. Ali's eyes showed a hint of appreciation. Speaking less and doing more is an excellent quality no matter where you are, whether in this world or in this wasteland. She unfolded a yellowed map marked with an unnamed road leading to the town of Bansidel. Moving along this road, although it is impossible to completely avoid danger, at least it can reduce many unnecessary risks. Li Nan is not particularly concerned about safety issues with a wasteland postman like Ali by his side. The abandoned soil postman not only possesses strong combat capabilities, but also has rich experience in surviving abandoned soil. He doesn't have to worry about it being a trap set by Ellie. With the strength of the wasteland postman, there's no need to take such a big detour if he wants to be unfavorable to him. Show me your weapons and equipment. After confirming the route, Ollie began preparing the necessary equipment for the treasure hunt. Li Nan took out all his weapons and equipment. In front of professionals like Ollie, he has always been very cooperative. However, when Ollie saw his equipment, he showed a look of love for fools. Desert Eagle Battle Damaged Edition. With only 7 rounds of 50 AE pistol bullets, are you planning to take this to the wasteland? Don't joke, Uncle. Is Desert Eagle, a powerful recoil pistol, something that someone like you with thin arms and legs can handle? Thin arms and thin legs. Li Nan looked at Ali's slender figure and wanted to retort, no matter what, I am stronger than you. But he ultimately chose to remain silent. After all, strength is the most important thing in the wasteland. Ellie deftly played with the 1.75 kg Desert Eagle in front of her, and the fancy spinning movements of the gun appeared effortless in her hands. This power and ultimate control over firearms made Li Nan shudder. This power, proficiency in this gun, TSK, it's better to shut up. Forget it, looking at your delicate and tender skin, you probably don't have any good equipment, Ollie said as she pulled out a bunch of things from her seemingly inconspicuous backpack. I have a set of equipment here, you can make do with it first. After this order is completed, you can provide me with the cost. Looking at the dazzling array of equipment in front of him, Li Nan couldn't help but be stunned. He couldn't imagine how Ali's slender figure could carry so much weight. What surprised him even more was that the backpack didn't look big, but it seemed to hold a world. He couldn't help but guess, is this the rumored spatial folding technique? Anti-radiation masks, pre-war military standard equipment, are used to prevent radiation. Ali pointed to one of the masks and explained, this is a must-have for going to the radiation zone. Then, she took out several injections. This is anti-radiation Ning, which enhances radiation tolerance in a short period of time. This is anti-radiation Ning, which can eliminate a certain amount of internal radiation, and this is an analgesic needle, which can last for 5 minutes. Every piece of equipment appears so professional and practical, and Li Nan couldn't help but admire Ali's attention to detail and professionalism. He took over these equipment and was filled with anticipation for the upcoming expedition. Next is weapons, Ali said, pulling out a uniquely shaped pure black large-caliber pistol from her waist. Your thinking is fine, you do need thick pipes here. The enemy is not just humans, and the thin pipes used to deal with them are not enough. But the recoil of the Desert Eagle is not suitable for you, this one is suitable for you. She handed the black gun from her hand to Li Nan. N99 pistol, a standard military pistol after 2051, uses a 10mm pistol cartridge with enough power to shatter the heads of some monsters. It is a friend of the wasteland and a self-defense weapon. Li Nan took the gun and carefully inspected it. Although this gun looks unremarkable, it exudes a calm and dangerous aura. Li Nan took the gun and felt its heavy weight, feeling an inexplicable sense of peace in his heart. After receiving the gun, Li Nan also received some 10mm bullets from Ali. This type of bullet is extremely common in Wasteland and was once a standard equipment for the pre-war army of the Starjo Kingdom, so it is not scarce. He loaded yellow and orange bullets into the N99 pistol one by one, loaded them, and fired a test shot in the direction of no one. The firelight from the muzzle flashed by, and the recoil arrived as expected, but it was much gentler compared to the Desert Eagle. Li Nan nodded in satisfaction, the feel of the gun boosted his confidence. You can try firing more shots and familiarize yourself with firearms. 10mm bullets are not as expensive as Sha Ying's 50 AE bullets. Ali blinked and said with a wicked smile, maybe you're the next Wasteland legend. Then I'll borrow your auspicious words. Li Nan smiled back, but there wasn't much longing for legend in his words. However, compared to legends, I still prefer money. You're really pragmatic, Ellie joked. Of course. When you reach my age, you will understand that the most real thing in the world is only money, and everything else is fake. TSK, it seems that you are not only pragmatic, but also very philosophical, Ellie joked. That's for sure, Li Nan proudly raised his eyebrows. Alright, you won. Put away your things, we should go now. Ali tiptoed and patted Li Nan's shoulder. Let's go. Let's go now. Li Nan suddenly felt a little nervous. I'm not ready yet. Ready. Ali looked at him puzzled. Uncle, you're not planning to take a hot shower or have a cup of coffee before heading on the road, are you? We're not here for tourism. No, that's not what I meant, Li Nan quickly explained. I feel like my training isn't enough. He touched the N99 pistol he just received, feeling a bit unsure. After all, he only tested 5 bullets and doesn't have enough understanding of the performance of this gun. That's okay. It doesn't matter whether you practice or not, it doesn't have much impact on the final result. Anyway, you will eventually die, it's just a matter of time. Ollie chuckled mischievously. The former glory of the wealthy district of Bansidel is now completely gone. Before the war, this was a bustling area in the capital district, where wealthy people built rows of exquisite villas as a paradise for their luxurious lifestyle. The luxurious decoration and elegant taste of private villas all showcased their nobility and wealth. The community public facilities are invested heavily, with magnificent public gardens, luxurious sports arenas, and self-built theaters in the community, all adding endless brilliance to this wealthy area. This used to be the ideal place of residence that people dreamed of before the war, a symbol of wealth and beauty. However, now a completely different scene is presented here. High concentrations of radiation permeate the air, and debris from targeted bombings can be seen everywhere. Various skeletons shimmering with green light are faintly visible in the darkness. The terrifying and eerie atmosphere enveloped the entire region, as if even time had come to a standstill here. Even zombies who are immune to radiation are unwilling to set foot in this desolate land. And those surviving mutated creatures are struggling to survive in the dark corners. A huge cockroach, the size of a soup bowl, shimmering with a dismal green light in the ruins, rats with red eyes and a body size similar to small dogs roam in groups on the ruins. What's even more chilling are the two-headed, three-headed mutant dogs with sticky and acidic saliva. These former pets have now become nightmares on the wasteland, and countless people have been awakened by their roars in their sleep, witnessing their bodies torn apart and divided in terror. Radiation changes not only humans, but also these animals that were once associated with humans. Their mutation and frenzy have become the most terrifying presence on this wasteland. This is the villa. Under Ellie's guidance, the two of them embarked on an adventure journey through roads, sewers, and paths, and finally quietly stepped into the courtyard of their destination villa. This villa covers a vast area, up to 3 floors, and is constructed from sturdy reinforced concrete. A 3-story reinforced concrete giant villa covering an area of 1,000 square meters. Despite experiencing the baptism of the ultimate war, this villa still stands firm and maintains its original appearance. Unlike other villas that pursue beauty and luxury, the owner of this villa seems to pay more attention to the safety of the house. The windows are specially reinforced, and the door is made of 3-proof special steel, which is indestructible. Even with explosives, it is difficult to easily explode them. Fortunately, Ollie obtained the key in advance, otherwise it would be almost impossible to open this door. In the radiation zone, obtaining a large amount of explosives is not only difficult but also extremely risky. Triggering a big explosion here will trigger a frenzy of beast and corpse attacks. You go first, I'll cover up. Ollie deftly opened the door with the key, moving smoothly and without any obstacles. Li Nan looked at her suspiciously and asked, "Aren't you going in with me?" He questioned. After all, the interior of this abandoned villa doesn't seem like a safe place. Of course not, Ollie answered sharply. Why? Li Nan asked inexplicably. Have you ever seen anyone put all their eggs in one basket? Ellie asked with a hint of cunning in her words. Li Nan choked on her rhetorical question. Although he felt that what she said was reasonable, he still felt something was wrong in his heart. Then why wasn't I covering for you? You went in. Okay, here you are, Uncle, Ollie said, handing over a heavy large dot-sized sniper rifle. Li Nan widened his eyes and said, "What is this?" The PGM Hecat-2 anti-material rifle, also known as the Goddess of the Underworld, weighs 12.9 kilograms and uses 12.7 mm caliber ammunition. Oh, by the way, it also has a nickname called Death Claw Kiss, Ellie explained. Li Nan gave a bitter smile and said, "Can I handle this big guy?" Oh, I forgot, Uncle. You may not be accustomed to this heavy weapon, Ellie suddenly realized and pulled out a noticeably smaller rifle. Try this fox and mouse rifle. It uses 22 caliber bullets and is very effective against small animals. Of course, it also has some killing power against large animals and humans, but it requires precise targeting of fatal weaknesses such as the eyes and temples. Li Nan took the short and powerful fox and mouse rifle and tried his hand. "This looks good, but the recoil should be much smaller," he said. "That's right." Ellie nodded and suddenly changed into a cute expression, blinking and saying, "Uncle, if I encounter any trouble with a zombie or a two-headed dog, it's all up to you to shoot accurately from 200 meters away to save me. My life is up to you." Li Nan looked at her mischievous appearance and sighed helplessly. "Forget it, let me go in." He shook his head, feeling as if he had been calculated by this little girl. This is the brave uncle." Ali praised Li Nan in a mischievous tone. "Uncle, you have gained Ali's favor +1. She continued, "Actually, there's nothing more dangerous inside than outside. The probability of encountering monsters is very low. Don't worry, uncle. Even if you really encounter any danger, Ali will rush over to save you without hesitation. After all, Ali's happy life in the latter half of his life still depends on you, uncle, to protect him." Li Nan is speechless. "All right, you can go in now. Take this, maybe it will be useful." Ali handed over a beautiful short knife, with beautiful patterns carved on the blade, sparkling with a cold light. Li Nan recognized the origin of this knife at a glance. The Boyi hunting knife, the beloved of pre-war hunters and collectors. This practical and classic American hunting knife is an indispensable artifact in both home life and hunting occasions, and is also highly respected in Wasteland. "Come on, uncle." Ali blinked and said mischievously, "Don't die inside, otherwise I'll be very sad." "Then I'll have to work hard and try not to make you sad," Li Nan replied humorously, glaring at her. He took the hunting knife, skillfully inserted it into his boots, and then pulled out his N99 pistol, carefully pushing open the door of the villa. Chapter 4. First Barrel of Gold. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li Nan opened the door of the villa with a feeling of unease. At the moment before entering, he habitually looked back at Ali's previous position. He soon realized that his behavior was foolish. If there were really enemies in the villa, such foolish actions would expose Ali's position. Fortunately, Ali was not as foolish as him. He had already moved from his previous position and hid in a corner that Li Nan didn't even know. Black Iron is worried about the king. He's so idle that his egg hurts. It's good not to delay others, Li Nan sneered bitterly and self-deprecatingly. Holding the gun tightly in both hands, he slowly walked into the villa. It seems like there hasn't been any sunlight here for a long time, and a cold and humid atmosphere wafts over my face. Even through a gas mask, I can still smell that musty smell. After entering the villa, a wave of palpitations surged in my heart. The last time I had this feeling was at 2 a.m. when I was playing Silent Hill alone at home. Thanks to Li Nanping's love for playing horror-themed games, he didn't feel weak in fear at this time. Of course, the N99 tightly held in his hand also gave him some comfort. Silently reciting in his heart, Nanwu N99 Bodhisattva, purify all impurities. This sentence made Li Nan feel even more calm. He is well aware that in this dangerous and unknown environment, only by staying calm can he better cope with various challenges. Li Nan recited and arrived at the first floor of the villa. The first floor is the lobby, in a mess, covered in expensive porcelain, enamel fragments, and decorative bases. Seeing that there were only these things in the hall, Li Nan felt extremely disappointed. This was completely different from his imagined wealthy villa that had not been searched for. It was obvious that this place had undergone looting, which means that most valuable things may have already been taken away by people. Despite this, Li Nan still held the idea of settling down as soon as he arrived and carefully searched on the first floor. However, apart from a pile of garbage, he found nothing. Filled with disappointment, Li Nan touched the key to the safe in his hand and could only hope for some valuable discoveries on the second floor. On the second floor, several glowing cockroaches are sleeping on the floor. Cockroaches were already present on Earth before the birth of humans. During the most prosperous period of human civilization, humans were unable to exterminate them. In the end times of human decline, they have the potential to become rulers of the Earth. Sometimes, Li Nan would think that perhaps the owner of the Earth is not a self-righteous human, but a cockroach. From a group perspective, cockroaches may indeed become rulers of the Earth, but from an individual perspective, each cockroach is just a part of the Earth's ecosystem. Li Nan, holding N99, is not afraid of glowing cockroaches. They are in a dormant state, with a population of 5. If possible, Li Nan wants to bypass these glowing cockroaches. He's here to pick up trash, not to level up monsters. He doesn't want to make unnecessary mistakes. But one of the glowing cockroaches didn't think so. It was lying in the stairwell between the second and third floors, stuck on the stairs, as if guarding them. We need to get rid of this one. Li Nan raised his N99, very close to the glowing cockroach, which was in a dormant state and did not notice. The environment is too harsh, even cockroaches need to keep themselves in a dormant state to reduce energy consumption. The perception of the inactive glowing cockroach is low, which gives Li Nan an opportunity. N99 is equipped with a special muffler, and the other 4 glowing cockroaches are relatively far away. As long as they are fast and accurate, they are likely not to wake up other cockroaches. Li Nan had enough time to aim, and he had tested multiple times. Ali maintained this gun very well, ensuring good accuracy. After several test shots, Li Nan has become proficient in the shooting method of this gun. At a distance of 5 meters, he is confident that he will shoot the cockroach with one shot. He picked up his N99 and aimed, shooting. The trigger was pulled, the bullet came out of the chamber, and a 10mm pistol bullet shattered the glowing cockroach. The shattered body was scattered everywhere with scattered nuclear materials, emitting a strange green glow. The nuclear material that has been fragmented to this extent no longer has the value of collection. Collecting nuclear materials from the body of glowing cockroaches is already a very low probability, and the dosage is not enough, and it is easily shattered. As for the cockroach corpse, the body shattered by a 10mm pistol has no effect. There are indeed some people on the wasteland who specialize in hunting and killing glowing cockroaches for a living, and they are called cockroach hunters. These people usually use traps and cold weapons to catch and kill glowing cockroaches, which are a common ingredient in waste soil. It is said that the taste of glowing cockroaches is very good, similar to some strange crab meat in the sea, basically equivalent to a relatively strong flavor of crab meat. It is said that Li Nan has not had the courage to try yet. More glowing cockroaches are used to mix with other messy meat to make nutritious protein chunks. These things are the daily food for the residents of abandoned land. Now, the glowing cockroach blocking the way has been shattered, and the road to the destination is unobstructed. Quickly, Li Nan arrived at his destination. The bedroom of the villa owner. There is a rotten Simmons in the bedroom, and on the bed lies a corpse that has already turned into a skeleton. The skull is wearing a blue radiation-resistant suit with radiation markings, and a gas mask with thick dust accumulation on its face. The anti-radiation suit is very spacious, and through it, you can see the fluorescent bones inside. It is obvious that this anti-radiation suit has not played its rightful role. Li Nan was groping on the body, trying to search for something valuable. He is wearing leather gloves and has been pre-injected with anti-radiation, so he is not worried about the body and radiation contamination. Remove the gas mask, wipe off the thick dust on it, and a clearly visible bullet hole appears on the mask. He looked at the bullet hole with great regret in his heart. Damaged gas masks have no value in the waste soil, while complete radiation masks are popular products. However, Li Nan did not feel sad for too long. Although the radiation mask was damaged, he found something else, a hollowed-out ring made of unknown precious metal with exquisite patterns. In addition to the ring, I also found a wristband-style handheld computer. In Li Nan's native world, handheld computers were ubiquitous and popular at some point, but now they have been almost completely replaced by tablets and smartphones. If you want to buy it, you probably can only buy second-hand ones, which are worth a few $100. Unlike the present world, handheld computers on Wasteland are absolutely high-tech. It's not that their technological capabilities are necessarily higher than those in the native world, but rather that they have a strange development direction. For some unknown reason, there are no transistors in this world, and computer miniaturization lags behind the native world for a long time. A wristband handheld computer is an extremely rare item. There is a nameplate on the computer that records detailed information about the computer. Personal Information Processor, Model 2076. The serial number is 000003. The manufacturer is Robico Future Technology Company, Limited, with a production date of 2076. The technological strength of this Robico Future Technology Company, Limited is amazing. In contrast, in reality, small computers cannot boot up without maintenance in harsh environments, while this computer can boot up normally in long-term harsh environments, which left Li Nan deeply moved. However, this computer is only limited to booting up and cannot access the system. Considering the factors of Robico technology, he decided to keep this computer for further research in the future. After extracting the last bit of value from the skeleton, Li Nan continued to search for this room. According to the intelligence provided by Ali, there should still be a safe deposit box here. However, he flipped the entire room upside down and couldn't find the safe mentioned in the intelligence. Is it possible that someone has been here before and couldn't open the safe, so they just moved it away? Not very likely. After the Ultimate War, the radiation concentration here is constantly exploding, and no one will specifically come here to move a safe. For a long time after the war, the items in the safe were the least valuable. It's not as valuable as a bottle of water in a supermarket or a bottle of medicine in a pharmacy. There must be hidden doors and mechanisms. Li Nan remembered the appearance of the villa in the shape of a bunker, and it was easy to understand the homeowner's sense of prevention. With this idea in mind, Li Nan knocked on the suspected area and finally found several empty bricks under the bed. Pull out the hunting knife and pry open these few empty bricks. A small safe caught the eye. Sure enough, there is something inside. The safe is small and exquisite, with a length, width, height, and width of 50 centimeters. Opening the safe requires 3 keys, all of which are on Li Nan's keychain. Li Nan is a bit worried that this safe may explode with the wrong unlocking sequence. Fortunately, such a thing did not happen. It's just Li Nan's brain teaser. The key made a pleasant sound and the lock of the safe was opened. What will happen? With the idea that it might be futile, Li Nan opened the safe. However, the result was beyond his expectations. There are 3 gold bars, a watch, and a passbook lying in the safe. At this moment, Li Nan's eyes sparkled with greed. Gold, this is his most coveted wealth. In the native world, gold is the most easily monetized high-value item. In contrast, suitable sales channels for items such as diamonds and jewelry have yet to be found. Gold, on the other hand, is different. Selling a small portion of gold is very convenient. How heavy are 3 gold bars? Li Nan is concerned about this issue. Li Nan weighed it with his hand, and each one weighed about 1 pound. He carefully looked at it with a flashlight, and it was clearly marked with the words 500 G. This means that the 3 gold bars weigh a total of 1,500 grams, and based on the current gold price, this is a huge wealth. Got rich. Li Nan recently did some homework and learned that the price of gold in the native world is about 400 yuan per gram, and the value of 1,500 grams of gold is as high as 600,000 yuan. 600,000 yuan, which is more than what Li Nan earned in the previous 5 years. This is not a dream, is it? Why are all the saliva flowing down? Wait, no, how did the saliva get into your eyes? Li Nan turned around and saw a huge, glowing green cockroach lying on his back. Chapter 5. Realizing Gold. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What's wrong with me? Li Nan opened his eyes, the glowing cockroach was no longer there, and in front of him was Ollie cleaning the needle. I was attacked by a glowing cockroach and fainted. The glowing cockroach's mouthpiece pierced through your protective suit, secreting paralyzing fluids that made you feel no pain, reducing your sensitivity and ultimately entering a state of paralysis and coma. I injected you with an antidote that can relieve this dizziness. Are you a fool? When you see the spoils of war, you lose your alertness. Congratulations, you almost became food for cockroaches. Elliot cursed slightly angrily. How much do you want those things? I really want it, Li Nan thought to herself. This time it's okay, I was saved by the little girl once again, and now I have become a lifesaver twice. Sigh, how can I repay her life-saving kindness? Li Nan thought about these and couldn't help but look at Ollie. Uncle, please don't look at me with such a disgusting expression. Ollie narrowed her eyes into a line. I just don't hate you, you don't have too many thoughts. No, I just thought of my niece. She looks a bit like you. My niece. Uncle, your way of approaching someone is really fresh and unconventional. Others are just sisters or ex-girlfriends. If you were here, you would become my niece. I don't even know if you are approaching or trying to take advantage of me. Ollie rolled her small white eyes. Ha! I really have a niece. Li Nan said to himself. The reason he said it in his heart was because he touched his pocket and the gold was not there. Have you taken out the gold? Li Nan asked urgently. Here you go, Grandette. Ollie casually threw the gold to Li Nan. Is gold so valuable with you? Almost losing her life. Ollie is not very interested in gold, on the contrary, she is tinkering with other things, such as passbooks, wristband computers, and patterned rings. Li Nan is clearly not interested in these things. 1,500 grams of gold. 600,000 renminbi. He touched the gold, hoping to return to the real world in the next second and exchange it for red banknotes. Although it is now 2023, not many people will use that much money anymore. Is it very valuable? It's very valuable, like the cola you drank before. If you buy it at retail price, you can buy 240,000 bottles. How much? Ollie widened her eyes. The value of 240,000 bottles of cola and 600,000 bottles of pure water, Li Nan repeated. Really, of course, what did I deceive you into doing? If we sell these pure water, we can all form a small army. Ellie's eyes lit up. In theory, that's the case, but for now I'm not very interested in building a military. At least for now, so far, Li Nan has not felt the joy of the apocalyptic world. Oh, there's still such a man. Are you an old grandfather? This has nothing to do with Grandpa, and I have other uses for this money in another world, Li Nan said. But don't worry, I will transfer half of your share to you. Give me something, gold or paper money from your place. That thing is just trash to me, uncle. Ollie smiled like a mischievous girl. If Li Nan were 10 years younger, he would probably have the urge to press Ollie against the wall and beat her up hard. He doesn't have such thoughts now. On the one hand, he's getting older, and on the other hand, he can't fight. It's not really useful to you, but I can't exchange all of it for pure water in this world. There's no such big warehouse, and you can't sell so much pure water at once. Pure water is a hot-selling commodity in this world, but after all, it is not a hard currency like currency. Do you have weapons, ammunition, or anything like that in your place? Ellie asked. I need these things, especially ammunition. Bullets consume too quickly, and ammunition here is expensive and difficult to buy. Especially high-power bullets. I'm really powerless about this. Is ammunition also very scarce in your area? That's not true, a lot, Li Nan said truthfully. As a major country, Li Nan believes that there is still a very abundant supply of ammunition. Especially during a special period in the last century, a large amount of ammunition and hand grenades were prepared for war. At that time, the mainstream firearms used 7.62 caliber military rifle bullets, which were quite popular in Wasteland. 7.62 caliber rifle bullets have a considerable killing effect on mutated waste soil organisms. However, for well-known reasons, don't even think about dealing with ammunition. There are many, but in the place where I am, weapon control is very strict, and I have no choice. I can buy you some necessary daily necessities, so don't expect weapons or anything else, said Li Nan. Okay, when you said that, I suddenly felt like the money from your place didn't seem to be of much use to me either. Except for buying you some daily necessities, food, and water, the other temporary uses are not significant. The amount you can receive is much less than what we say, and even more is not enough. The amount that Ollie can get is probably 300,000, which is either less or more. Buying daily necessities, food, and water is enough for Ollie to eat for a period of time, and other wasteland that requires weapons cannot be bought. What comes to mind is that buying a commuter car is good. But there is an even more painful thing: this world has experienced a fuel crisis, and neither gasoline cars nor electric cars are realistic. Of course, it is possible to consider refueling in the real world, but cars that can run are too conspicuous. This world experienced energy depletion 100 years ago, and driving a car on Wasteland 100 years later will become the most beautiful cub in Wasteland, and all forces will be watching you. This level of danger is much more dangerous than taking out 2 bottles of water. But if there is enough money, I will be different with us, and my freedom will be much higher. Li Nan said, if you trust me, I can set up another account to help you save and invest. When our money reaches a certain amount, I may be able to operate there and buy ammunition. It sounds good, then let's leave it to you for investment. I hope you don't lose money, maybe one day I can go to your side. Ollie said this casually, tinkering with the wristband-style handheld computer. Compared to Li Nan's property distribution plan, she was clearly more interested in this handheld computer. Seeing Ollie addicted to what he was interested in, Li Nan turned to studying the spoils of war, rings, and passbooks that he was interested in. This ring is very beautiful, with a double-headed eagle pattern and Roman and Caesar written on it in both English and Italian. As a senior Jingluo, he can easily tell that this is a senior double-headed eagle. Can I have this ring distributed to me? Li Nan asked, and the distribution of spoils requires the approval of the team, according to the rules of the scrapper team. Okay. Ollie was still tinkering with the handheld computer, lacking interest in the ring. Li Nan put the ring on his little finger, which fit perfectly. After putting on his little finger, Li Nan saw his passbook beside him. I casually picked it up and took a look at Robeco Future Technology Bank. The account was with a man named Steve, and the final balance showed 20 million pre-war star bars. You really have money. If it weren't for war, obtaining the exchange rate of Li Nan's native world would be a billionaire. Now it's just bones. This passbook is probably not very useful anymore. Just keep it as a souvenir by your side, it doesn't take up any space anyway. After packing up, Li Nan decided to go back and monetize the gold. I need to go back once. How can I find you next time I come back? Mark the coordinates on it. Ollie brought a map and I will wait for you there. Okay. Taking advantage of Ollie's intoxication on the handheld computer, Li Nan found a free time, took out his phone, opened the magical app, and clicked back. A moment of dizziness, when he opened his eyes again, Li Nan was already lying on the bed of the rented house. I touched my pocket, it was bulging, and suddenly felt relieved. Fortunately, it wasn't a dream. Take out the gold and carefully place it in the savings box under the bed. Li Nan took out his phone and checked the time. It was 8:30 in the morning. Good morning, it's the first time I've felt the pleasure of not having to go to work. People are poor and have short aspirations. He had no such thoughts before, and after losing his job, his heart always feels anxious. As a first-tier city, the cost of living here is not low. Not to mention that he is not just his own expense. After getting up, Li Nan came to the restaurant, where he cooked breakfast, eggs, congee, egg cakes and pickles on the table. A very simple breakfast, rich in nutrients. In addition, there was also a written little card. "Uncle, you've been drinking too much again. You won't be able to find a girlfriend like this. Our old Li family is going to end." Ha! Seeing this note, Li Nan smiled knowingly. It was left for him by his little niece Yuan Yuan. Yuan Yuan is 10 years younger than Li Nan and is a high school student at Nanhu Middle School. As for a high school student living with a single uncle, then we need to start with a tragic story. Last year, Yuan Yuan's parents, Li Nan's sister, and brother-in-law had a car accident. Both of them unfortunately died. Unfortunately, genes seem to easily stop landing on someone. Prior to this incident, the Yuan Yuan family had frequent misfortunes, and after a series of misfortunes, Li Nan, the uncle, became her guardian. There is also luck in misfortune, and his uncle Li Nan has no intention of evading responsibility. After handling the aftermath of his sister's family, Li Nan fulfilled his obligation as a guardian. After her sister had an accident, Li Nan moved to her sister's house, and now it should be said that Yuan Yuan's family took care of her. For Li Nan, this can also save some rent, which can be considered as something left by the young couple. The car has already turned into dust after the accident. This 2-bedroom, 1-living-room house in the suburbs is the result of Yuan Yuan's parents' lifelong struggle and the last love left for Yuan Yuan. If this love is relatively pure, without a mortgage, that would be even better. The mortgage on this house is really a headache-inducing thing. Yuan Yuan said she wants to sell the house so that life will be better. Li Nan did not agree to this plan. When I first bought this house, it was a school district house. If it were sold, Yuan Yuan Reading would have to rent a new house. Moreover, this is a legacy left by my sister to Yuan Yuan. In practical terms, in the case of the Magic City, if we sell the house now and Yuan Yuan wants to buy another house like this in the future, we don't know how many years of hard work she will have. Li Nan's heart was good, but after making such a decision, he accidentally transformed from a happy bachelor to a middle-aged social animal. When I was alone in the past, I had a small surplus, but later I could only barely balance my income and expenses, and my life became more difficult. However, these days came to an end a few days ago, and he lost his job. Ah, that time was really a nightmare. Fortunately, Li Nan took out the gold bar from the box and looked at it. It can last for a long time now. Eating his niece's hearty breakfast, Li Nan planned a way to monetize the gold bars. The buying and selling of gold in Li Nan's native world is legal, but the premise is that it is obtained through legal means, rather than gold of unknown origin. There is no limit to the amount of gold that individuals can sell. The current issue is that the source of Li Nan's gold is definitely not illegal, but its origin cannot be explained. However, the good news is that there are many channels for selling gold. 1,500 grams of gold is a large amount for Li Nan, but it doesn't even count as a drizzle in the gold market. He is not very worried about this. Some people will be curious about the origin of this amount of gold. If the amount increases in the future, we need to find a good way to deal with gold. At present, there is no need to consider the issue of numbers. The current issue is the style. These 3 standard gold bars are too conspicuous. But the words on it are in English, and the inscription is not in English of this era. It's easy to arouse curiosity. Li Nan doesn't want such a thing to happen. If there is a good person, it is inevitable to waste a lot of time reporting and explaining without explanation. Since entering society, Li Nan's time has been scattered by various chaotic things, and he doesn't want to have any extraneous activities. It seems that some effort needs to be made in the style of gold. After doing some homework, Li Nan came up with a complete plan. First, he cut the gold into small pieces of about 25 g, and then went to several small gold shops. After paying a processing fee of 1 gram and 8 yuan, Li Nan made small pieces of gold into gold bracelets and rings. These small gold shops do not inquire too much about the origin of this small piece of gold, which has little to do with them. After obtaining the gold bracelets and rings, Li Nan sold them to the gold collection store at a price of 10 yuan less per gram. After running to more than 10 gold shops and cash registers, Li Nan disposed of all the gold. Sitting on the bus, Li Nan carried a large gray-black shoulder bag containing over 500,000 yuan in cash. The recycling prices at each store were slightly different, so the exact number was not 570,000 yuan. Out of caution, Li Nan chose to take all the cash. Whether it's banks or financial software, the abundance of transactions inside is also questionable. Of course, given that Li Nan has never done anything illegal or even had a good record of speeding from childhood to adulthood, such doubts will not be doubted. Carrying a large bag of cash, Li Nan cautiously didn't even take a sip of water. I am afraid that my bag will be taken by others. Thanks to the development of electronic payments and the improvement of the public security environment, there are now fewer thieves and robberies than before. In 2000, there was a movie called No Thieves in the World. If we had followed the movie worldview, Li Nan might have become a fat sheep in the eyes of thieves long ago. After a battle of wits and courage with the air all the way, Li Nan finally got home by taking the last subway. It happened that Yuan was not at home, and there was soy milk and deep fried dough sticks on the table. And as usual, Yuan left a note saying, "Uncle, today is Xiaoyu's birthday. I went to her house to play. I drank at the bar again. Are you hungry? Let's eat something." Li Nan smiled and his tired body dissipated a lot. Yuan is still a sensible child. He was a bit worried that Yuan might delay his homework. Then Li Nanxiang smiled at himself. It's also funny that I, as a struggling student who barely got into a second-tier university, am worried about the top homework in a key high school grade. Besides, it seems like studying on your own would be very hard-working. Forget it, Yuan is working much harder than herself. I still consider how to earn money to support my family and take on the responsibility of being a guardian. Let Yuan get into a good university, smoothly enter society, and live up to her sister. After eating the hearty night snack left by Yuan, Li Nan came to his room with a bag containing money. Stacking the cash in the bag on the bed, it took a lot of effort to determine the amount, which was 587,400 yuan. Wow, what a big sum of money. Counting was difficult, and at the same time, Li Nan was moved by the houses here. Even with so much money, a down payment is enough to make a small change. This world is really wonderful. With a sigh of relief, Li Nan collected the money and took out 50,000 yuan to put back in his bag. The 50,000 yuan still had to be deposited into the bank and turned into money in an electronic account. At this point in the development of mobile payments, things will become much more complicated without mobile payments. Here, it is noteworthy that young people like Li Nan use cashier.round. Carrying money, Li Nan left the house again and swept a mobile bike. He rode to the nearest ATM nearby and deposited the money into it. I paid off my mortgage and credit card, and then I paid off my mortgage for this month. Fortunately we paid it off on time, so there's no need to go through credit reporting. After returning what was due, Li Nan looked at the balance in his card and found that there was still over 20,000. Suddenly, Li Nan felt relaxed all over. In the crisp autumn, Li Nan is preparing to have a barbecue and drink some beer to satisfy his stomach. Riding his bicycle to the barbecue stall he often goes to next to his home, Li Nan ordered 10 skewers of beef, 10 skewers of lamb, and 2 bottles of can beer. Li Nan gained a rare sense of happiness. After eating and drinking, Li Nan arrived at the nearby Golden Arch. Could you please give me a McDonald's set meal package? Li Nan ordered Yuan's favorite set meal, which is loved by children of her age. I used to eat a lot, but since I was struggling, I rarely had the opportunity to eat again. Now that you have money, bring a share for Yuan. You can eat when Yuan comes back. There is an oven at home, so if you can't eat it, you can still eat it hot tomorrow. Hello, your package is ready. It's already late and there aren't many people. The meal was served quickly. Taking delivery, walking to the door, Li Nan turned around and saw a poster of thick beef. Suddenly thinking of someone, I smiled knowingly. Stopping, he walked back and said, "Give me another thick beef burger combo." Upon returning home, Li Nan placed the Yuan set meal on the table. Then he returned to the room, took out 2 bottles of cold beer from the refrigerator, called the app, adjusted to the coordinates provided by Ali, and arrived at a safe room in the wasteland. This is Ali's stronghold, and at this moment, Ali is not at home. Li Nan placed the Ali package next to the FN-97 rifle on the table and then returned to the real world. Lying on their own bed, fatigue immediately struck. In another world, Ali returned to her safe house carrying a bloody eye rabbit and immediately became alert. She smelled a different scent than usual. Someone invaded, grabbed a gun, and Ali walked in. Turn on the flashlight and see the food on the table. Good aroma, this is a hamburger. Cheese. Cheeseburger. Chapter 6. The Last Age Shelter. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 10 hours later, Li Nan got up from bed. I slept for a long time. Li Nan didn't have to go to work and didn't set an alarm. There is nothing urgent on the end of the world. Thinking about the remaining balance, Li Nan suddenly felt comfortable. Life. At this moment, I have an idea in my mind whether or not to go back to the end of the world. More than 500,000 yuan, although it's not enough to make oneself lie flat, it's still enough to give oneself a buffer period to find a job and take the civil service exam. Especially when it comes to obtaining an official position, although Li Nan's personality is unlikely to lead to great wealth and prosperity, having a worry-free lifestyle and ensuring income during droughts and floods is definitely not a problem. Even if you can't get a position, over 500,000 yuan can still be used as startup funds for small businesses. After Li Nan lay in bed and had this idea, he thought for about 5 seconds before making a decision. What kind of sage are you? God has opened such a big window for me, just to get a job position. Is the end of the universe impossible to weave? Thinking for another second would be disrespectful to the money under the bed. Quickly getting dressed, Li Nan opened an online shopping app and bought 10 boxes of pure water, glass bottles, as well as 10 boxes of canned beef and 10 boxes of canned peaches. Not long after, canned food and purified water were delivered. This is good for big cities, and the same city logistics of online shopping apps are quite fast. It took Li Nan some time to tear off the packaging paper of the canned food and purified water. After experiencing an embarrassing situation where the label couldn't be scraped clean, Li Nan learned to behave well this time and bought only products with packaging paper. Once the packaging paper is torn off, no labels can be seen at all, making it the most common glass bottled water and canned food. We moved boxes of canned and glass bottled water to the post-apocalyptic world, where it was located as Ali's refuge. Ali's shelter is built in an abandoned sewer. It has been abandoned for many years, and unlike Ali's carefree appearance, Ali's shelter can completely look like a place where a girl lives. As a shelter built in the sewer, the area is not small at all. The entire shelter is divided into 4 areas. Residential area, work area, warehouse area, and electronic facilities area. It is worth mentioning that this electronic device area seems to be a panoramic projection area. As for its function, Li Nan has not yet figured it out. He has seen quite a few technological products in this era. Many technology products here have not been commercialized, but are at the forefront of military use. The quantity is pitifully small, and not everyone can see the waste soil. Ollie is not here at this time. With Ellie's personality, besides the bedroom, she probably wouldn't mind visiting her hiding place. Coincidentally, Li Nan also wants to see what a powerful figure like the Wasteland postman's hiding place would look like. Li Nan first arrived at the warehouse area, where his goods needed to be stored. Ollie's hiding place is in the warehouse area, which is Ollie's treasure trove. Inside, there are 3 shelves. Weapon shelves, food shelves, and medicine shelves. There are various firearms and firearm accessories on the weapon shelf, ranging from pistols, rifles, submachine guns, Gaussian rifles to laser rifles, machine guns, everything. Li Nan couldn't understand what Ollie had in mind when he purchased weapons from him. This is already a small arsenal, weapon collector. However, as Ollie said, compared to weapons, the quantity of ammunition is not much. In contrast, there are only enough canned goods and water in the living area for just 3 days. A sentence came to Li Nan's mind regarding the configuration of Ollie's warehouse. My neighbor hoards food, I hoard guns, and my neighbor is my granary. The drug area is quite rich, with the most commonly used being xylofuning, kangfuning, and various painkillers. In addition, there are also some surgical instruments and gauze. Upon seeing the surgical instruments, Li Nan immediately imagined the scene of Ollie biting her teeth and screaming for surgery in the shelter. This scene is truly a wolf slaying. After determining the location of the warehouse, Li Nan did not visit other areas and moved the water and cans he brought into the warehouse area. There seem to be many good things in the shelter, but none of them belong to me. Of course, one must earn their own things. After moving the things, Ollie stood behind her at some point. I was startled. Li Nan turned around and was scared by Ollie. Can you walk and make a sound? You startled me. How did you get into my hiding place? It was the same last time, and it's the same this time. You gave me the coordinates, and I came over. As for how it came about, you can understand it as teleportation. As for which technology was used, I'm sorry, I don't know. I can only say that I spent money to come over. I'm just an ordinary person on our side. I only know how to use it, I don't know the principle, Li Nan said half-truthfully. It's really a unique technology. My shelter alarm system and automatic defense system were not triggered, Ellie said curiously. Alarm and automatic defense. Did you install this here? By comparing thermal sensing and iris scanning, if an unidentifiable intruder is detected, it will trigger the 50 caliber automatic machine gun turret, Ollie said, stomping his foot. A tile on his foot sank in, and a controller was hidden underneath it. After the controller was triggered, a thick gun barrel protruded from the ceiling to match Li Nan. The muzzle of this caliber can easily tear apart super mutants, let alone mortal bodies like Li Nan. He suddenly felt a wave of fear. It's a miracle that you broke into my hiding place and didn't get smashed. Ellie said in shock, but should I take a shot at those who break into my shelter without permission? Ollie looked at Li Nan and pulled out a .22 Luger pistol from his boot, pointing it at Li Nan's head. Hey, you're not serious, are you? Don't just point a gun at someone else's head. I didn't casually point out, I was serious. Ollie suddenly looked indifferent. My rules can't be broken, I'm sorry, and thank you for your beef burger. It's delicious. Li Nan is now completely disillusioned. Originally, when he was dying, he would have various expressions and thoughts of survival. But what Li Nan was thinking at this moment was that Yuan could find the money while sorting out her belongings. This money should be enough for Yuan to finish college, so she can only rely on herself in the future. Another regret is that I have never been kissed by a girl since I was so old. I'm really unwilling to accept it. With a gunshot, not flames but balloons popped out of the muzzle, hitting Li Nan's face with a loud bang. Just as Li Nan was caught off guard, Ollie's lips forcefully kissed Li Nan's cheek with a loud bang. "Welcome to my hiding place and thank you for your hamburger." A crisp click of sound. Li Nan's head was a bit confused. Is this the texture of a girl's lips? So soft. "Alright, this is the welcome ceremony prepared for you and my gratitude for bringing me a delicious hamburger." Ollie wiped Li Nan's lip print and saliva. Welcome ceremony. Except for her big blonde hair, Ollie's appearance leans towards the east, which made Li Nan forget that she was from the west for a while. Okay, the way Western girls are welcomed is really special. Thank you for the welcome. However, I am too grateful for the hamburger, Li Nan said after reminiscing about the kiss just now. Too much. Is it too much to exchange a kiss for a cheese beef burger? Ollie smiled brightly. Uncle, you really look up to me. For a girl like me who looks like me, if you take a can of beef to the wasteland area, the price for one night will probably queue up to find you. It's just a kiss, let alone a kiss. What they do is their business, but in my mind, you are not measured by things like canned food. You are different from others, Li Nan blurted out, this is his true words. Okay, it makes Ollie feel happy in her heart. It makes me want to taste what your mouth tastes like, it must be very sweet, Ollie teased Li Nan. Li Nan turned his head, he was not foolish enough to be teased by the little girl in front of him. Judging from his recent actions, if she really wanted to taste the taste of her mouth, she would have rushed over long ago. Alright, stop teasing me. Okay, I'm not teasing you anymore. Welcome to my hiding place as a guest. Although the coordinates I gave you should be outside the shelter, once you come in, I won't hide anything from you. Let me introduce you to the shelter. As you can see, shelter all 4 areas, including residential, work, warehouse, and electronic facilities. I won't introduce the functions of toilets, nutrition stations, medical stations, and bedrooms in residential areas. If you're not a fool, you should know Ollie took Li Nan to visit the restroom, nutrition station, and medical station in his hiding place. The toilet has been repaired with a drainage system, and according to Ellie, the sewer leads directly to the Pacific Ocean, but it is unclear whether it is real or fake. The nutrition station has a kitchen, which has an old-fashioned refrigerator, electric heaters similar to induction cookers, and various cooking equipment, making it a small kitchen completely suitable for 1.2 people. The kitchen is equipped with a ventilation system, as long as you don't overdo it, you won't be choked by the oil fumes. I won't take you on a tour of the bedroom, Uncle. Come on, when Ollie has a good impression of you, you can come into my bedroom and maybe even use my sheets. Ollie chuckled twice. Li Nan gave her a white eye. Unlike last time we met, Ollie enjoys going crazy in the hiding place. You have already looked at the warehouse area, and there isn't much to see, said Ollie. There are a lot of weapons. It's more than just an arsenal. Oh, weapons, Ellie said coldly, they are mostly spoils of war. As a postman, it's inevitable to encounter many enemies. Especially a girl like me who looks petite and cute. Ollie said something terrible with a calm expression on her face. Alright, I'll focus on introducing my masterpiece, the workspace. Ollie pulled Li Nan to the workspace. A huge place. It took me a lot of effort to renovate this place, Ollie said proudly. Weapons and ammunition workstations. Here, weapons can be manually modified and ammunition can be made. Various weapon accessories and gunpowder cans are placed on the workbench. I moved this workbench from a group of raiders' lair, and with this workbench, I can modify weapons and make ammunition myself. There are several modified guns on the workbench, which have a very personal style. There are bullets being produced on the ammunition workbench, but Li Nan is very skeptical about the quality and efficiency of handmade bullets. Compared to homemade bullets, standard bullets should have a greater use. Ollie seemed to see Li Nan's confusion. There are many strange and mutated creatures on the wasteland, which are harder to kill than before the war. Many bullets before the war were not effective. We will make more powerful bullets by changing the amount of gunpowder and changing the bullet's warhead, but the prerequisite is that there must be an ammunition workbench. The ammunition workbench is difficult to find, so this special ammunition is very expensive. For example, in this area, this special ammunition can only be purchased in Gem City. The price of ammunition in the official ammunition store of Gem City is 2.3 times that of ordinary merchants, which can only be purchased after obtaining enough honor. These special ammunition on the black market are about twice as expensive, so, can you produce bullets that can sell for 3.4 times the price here? Isn't that buying regular bullets and processing them yourself can make money? Li Nan immediately thought of a business opportunity. I thought about it this way a while ago. Later I realized it wasn't very realistic. Ellie pointed to the light on her finger. The operation of the hiding place requires the operation of the lighting and ventilation systems, which consume electricity and are also costs. Coupled with the time cost, I can't make much money at all. She was quite helpless and said, I've thought about many ways to make money lying down. Let me show you. As she spoke, she took Li Nan to another workshop, which had a complete set of brewing equipment. For a period of time, the wasteland environment became even worse. People's lives became increasingly difficult, and the price of wine skyrocketed. I built a whole set of brewing equipment, which can turn sugar into wine. I made a lot of money during that time, said Ollie. Li Nan looked at the dusty winemaker and asked, and then? Then the price of sugar went up, the price of wine went down, the profit dropped to a negligible level, and there was no profit left. Ollie said, oh, the electricity bill is really high and terrible. She was quite emotional. Speaking of electricity bills, Li Nan asked, how is the hiding place powered? Talking about this issue, the two of them came to the power supply room. There is a set of small power supply equipment in the power supply room that Li Nan has never seen before, and the power supply equipment is painted with the symbol of nuclear energy. Ultra-miniature nuclear power generators, said Ollie, require the consumption of ultra-miniature nuclear energy batteries. She pointed to the green glowing battery-like item in the center of the generator and said, that's it, nuclear energy battery. A miniature nuclear energy battery is currently priced at 300 bottle caps. If all the equipment here is turned on, it will consume 3 cores per day. If we maintain our daily needs, then 1 core is almost enough. Okay, no wonder you're poor. These living expenses, the spendthrifts. Li Nan muttered inwardly. Alright, that's about it. Now I'll take you to see my masterpiece. Ollie suddenly smiled and pulled Li Nan to a set of electronic devices. The electronic device has a large esports chair. Ollie gestured for Li Nan to sit up, and then Ollie pressed a button on the wall. Suddenly, a few old-fashioned projectors on the wall emitted light, and Li Nan's face turned into a shooting range, like a real shooting range. However, Li Nan easily knew that it was not real because it was monochromatic green, in line with the strange technology of this world. Apart from this drawback, this real simulation technology has far surpassed Li Nan's primitive world. At this moment, various monochromatic green firearms appeared in front of Li Nan, ranging from ammunition weapons to laser weapons, with quite a variety. Encore technology, used for elite Sea Lion assault team training, holographic projection range, said Ellie proudly. Chapter 7. Holographic Combat System. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Holographic projection range. Yes, it can simulate the firing of bullets. It's fully simulated and doesn't require any ammunition, said Ollie. Alright, stop talking nonsense. Just give it a try and you'll know. If I say it takes an hour, it's better for you to get started for 10 minutes, she continued urging. In the following time, Li Nan devoted himself wholeheartedly to this system. He found that through advanced holographic projection technology, not only can various firearm data in the database be called up to simulate the extremely realistic shooting feel and recoil, but also the installation effect of various accessories can be simulated. What's even more surprising is that the simulated tracer bullets used in the shooting range can clearly display the flight trajectory and landing point of the bullets. This type of visual feedback is extremely valuable for shooting training. At Ellie's suggestion, Li Nan first tried the N99 10mm pistol. A classic pistol known as the friend of the wasteland. It has balanced performance and bullets are not difficult to obtain, which is deeply loved by many people. When searching for combat supplies, it is always easy to find matching bullets, making it a reliable companion for survivors. And for the rifle, he chose the Yangtze Type 56 assault rifle, which fired 7.62mm caliber rifle bullets and was a standard equipment of the Yangtze country during the Resource War. During those turbulent years, before the deployment of power armor troops in the country of Starlight, the Yangtze assault rifle won the favor of soldiers with its outstanding firepower and stability. Whether in the cold wilderness of Anchorage or in the dense rainforest of Malay, Indonesia, there are stories of soldiers from the Starlight Nation abandoning their previously difficult-to-maintain 5.56mm rifles and instead using Yangtze assault rifles. In the wasteland world, this rifle is highly respected. The environment there is worse than ever before, and the mutated dangerous creatures have thick skin and flesh. In this case, large-caliber bullets have better stopping power. Although the 5.56mm caliber rifle is effective enough against humans, it always appears somewhat powerless in front of certain monsters on the wasteland. Of course, there are also psychological factors involved. After all, in most cases, even flesh and blood monsters find it difficult to withstand the fierce impact of a few 5.56 caliber bullets. In the following days, Li Nan's life became simple and regular. Practicing guns, reflecting, practicing guns again, reflecting again. So on and so on. Under professional guidance, with an unlimited supply of virtual bullets and his hard work, his shooting skills have made significant progress. These three combine to produce an amazing chemical reaction. In just a few days, Li Nan quickly mastered the core skills required for a basic shooter. Alright, that's it. After a practice session, Ali interrupted Li Nan. You have now mastered the basic shooting skills, at least you won't be easily solved by cockroaches like a beginner before. Last time I was ambushed. And I clearly hit that cockroach, which has nothing to do with my shooting skills. Li Nan secretly complained in his heart. However, although you have made great progress, this kind of practice is just talk on paper, Ellie continued. To truly gain practical experience, you need to experience it in real combat. An excellent marksman is not equivalent to an excellent hunter. In Wasteland, most people are not shot directly and die. Well, I understand, Li Nan succinctly agreed. He knew that although practice was boring, it was a necessary path to improve skills. And as he grew older, he became more and more able to tolerate this kind of boredom. However, the problem now is that he has reached a critical point for practice, and only practical combat can help him break through this limitation and achieve greater improvement. In addition, there is another more urgent problem in front of him. If they don't go out to make money, they will have to sit on their laurels. The canned beef and purified water they bring are valuable supplies in the apocalypse. It's really wasteful to consume like this, it's heartbreaking to think about it. We need to go to Gem City as soon as possible to sell these cans and water, said Ali. Oh, by the way, do you have the coordinates of Gem City? Li Nan asked. Yes, here you are, Ali said as she marked the location of Gem City on the map. After receiving the map, Li Nan immediately took out his phone and tried to input the coordinates of the Gem City in the app, hoping to teleport it directly to Ali's hiding place like before. However, after trying several times, there was no response. What are you doing? Ali asked curiously. It's nothing, just trying a new feature, Li Nan said casually. Are you holding the handheld terminal from your place? Ali seemed to be interested in the smartphone in Li Nan's hand. Almost, let's call it a smartphone, Li Nan said and handed the phone to Ollie. After taking the phone and playing with it for a while, Ollie seemed a bit bored and returned it. The colorful screen is really interesting, and the camera function is also good, but the calculation speed is really too slow. It's just a novel toy, right? Li Nan has no objection to Ollie's evaluation of smartphones. The technological level of this world is indeed superior to that of the native world. Although smartphones did not appear here, Li Nan had personally witnessed the charm of fully intelligent robots. It is said that before the war, such robots had already spread to middle-class families and became their intelligent butlers. Therefore, it is not surprising that Ollie's view on mobile phones. Moreover, without network support, the functionality of smartphones can indeed be greatly reduced. However, Li Nan did not introduce the magical app to Ollie. He himself couldn't figure out how this app provided services without the internet. "We need to go to the Gem City next," Ellie suggested. "But before that, I have to remind you one thing. In the Gem City, don't display any strange things, such as your phone. The people there are very hostile towards the people of the college. If you are considered a member of the college, even if Lawyer Lee is hired, the jury will not hesitate to sentence you to death." Lawyer Lee. The review team. Li Nan asked in confusion. "That's right. The legal judgments in Gem City are all made by a panel of 7 people, explained Ollie. "Will it still go through trial?" "It sounds quite civilized," Li Nan said. "Civilization. Wait until you truly stay in the Gem City for a long time before expressing your opinion," Ollie said with a smile. The two packed their bags, put on their backpacks, and embarked on a journey to the Jewel City. The journey was difficult and long, and it took them 2 whole days to finally see the outline of the Gem City. The Gemstone City is built along the mountain, and the entire city seems to blend in with the mountain. However, as Li Nan was about to step into this city, his gaze was drawn to a dark cloud. That dark cloud covered the sky and earth, as if it was about to devour the entire city. "Don't continue walking," Ollie grabbed Li Nan in time. "Let's find a place to hide first." Ollie quickly pulled Li Nan into an abandoned house located on the outskirts of Gem City. Not long after hiding in, the huge flock of birds that had previously been mistaken for dark clouds gathered above their heads. Through the broken window, Li Nan was shocked to find that it was not a dark cloud at all, but a group of large and strange birds. They soar in the air, their huge bodies giving people a strong sense of oppression, as if to envelop the entire world under their shadow. Crowds of giant birds blocked the light, instantly turning the originally bright day into night. Li Nan felt a tingling scalp and an inexplicable fear surged in his heart. Gunshots and screams came from outside the house, and Li Nan saw the tragedy happening through the light of the gunfire. The crowd without cover ran around in panic on the flat ground, but to no avail. The strange birds extended their sharp claws and easily picked them up, like preying on chicks. The frightened people fired indiscriminately into the sky, attempting to repel these terrifying strange birds. However, it is unclear whether it was because the bullet did not hit or because the strange bird's fur had a certain protective effect, and the gunshot did not seem to cause any substantial damage to them. Ollie looked at all of this coldly, as if it had become commonplace. She explained to Li Nan, "The fur of these Archaeopteryx has a certain protective effect, and small-caliber rifles do not cause much harm to them. They also use their mouths to dig out bullets from each other's bodies, and their recovery ability is very strong. Ordinary rifles have no deterrent effect on them." Li Nan felt a palpitations and asked, "Where will those who were taken away go?" Ollie replied, "They will be thrown into the air and then smashed into flesh. These strange birds will slowly taste their corpses." She handed Li Nan a night vision device with telescope function. Wearing a night vision device, Li Nan saw the tragedy even further away. In the air, a strange bird grabbed a man and flew to an open place. It let go of its claws, and the man struggled helplessly in the air, performing free-fall movements accompanied by mournful screams, ultimately falling to the flat ground, becoming a pile of blurry flesh. Immediately after, the strange bird flew down and extended its huge and slender tongue to lick the meat paste. It makes a strange creaking sound, as if expressing satisfaction and joy with the food. With the screams of humans and the laughter of strange birds, no living human can be seen on the flat ground. The strange birds that had lost their target began to form groups to attack the city on the mountain, attempting to obtain more food from the cannons containing humans. The mutated Archaeopteryx, Ellie briefly introduced, is a carnivorous mutated organism. Its wings can reach 11 to 15 meters when it reaches adulthood, and its weight ranges from 180 to 200 kilograms. Its intelligence is average, and it uses simple tools. Li Nan quickly understood what Ollie meant by using simple tools. Because there was a loud noise coming from ahead, he saw through the night vision system that huge stones were falling from high altitude and hitting the city heavily. These stones are obviously pushed down by the strange birds from a high place, and their power is no less than that of shells. Bomb-like boulders fell from the sky and fiercely smashed into the rudimentary houses made up of wood and containers at the foot of the mountain. These houses were instantly shattered by the impact of giant rocks. However, this is just the prelude to the attacks of the strange birds. When they were preparing to launch a more fierce attack on the buildings on the mountainside, humans finally launched a counterattack. Firelights cut through the night sky like fiery snakes, instantly illuminating the entire sky. This is a counterattack from the humans of Gem City. They are no longer waiting to die. Anti-aircraft guns, anti-aircraft machine guns, Ollie calmly analyzed. It seems that the nobles of Jewel City can no longer hold back, and the anti-aircraft positions are starting to counterattack with all their might. I saw a series of shells exploding in the air, tearing groups of strange birds into pieces. A heavy rain of meat began to fall in the sky, and the remnants and feathers of the strange bird drifted around. Large-caliber anti-aircraft machine gun bullets penetrated the bodies of the strange birds, shooting them down one by one from the air. With these powerful weapons that were once used to penetrate steel, humanity seems to have the upper hand, and victory seems to be right in front of us. However, at this moment, an accident occurred. The strange birds suddenly lowered their flying altitude uniformly, resisting the fierce artillery fire from the anti-aircraft position. Their actions were like collective suicide, leaving Li Nan completely bewildered. He doesn't know what tricks these strange birds are playing. Immediately afterwards, something even more unexpected happened to Li Nan. I saw huge humanoid monsters with limbs jumping down from the strange birds flying at low altitudes. Chapter 8. Devourer. You are listening at novelfull.audio. These monsters range in length from 6 to 7 meters, with round bodies that resemble towering mountains. Their bodies are covered with a layer of rusty iron sheets, which make up their unique armor. They hold various weapons in their hands, whether they are fire hydrants or street lamps, which have become deadly weapons in their hands. Some of the more well-equipped behemoths even hold sturdy shields made from car doors. If it weren't for their massive size, these seemingly absurd weapons would only make people feel comical. However, when these towering beasts stand in front of you like mountains, that humor has long been replaced by fear. These are behemoths, Ellie explained, evolved from super mutant humans with uncontrollable genes, and they are incredibly large in size. Before the words could be finished, the beasts began their attack. They waved their fire hydrants and street lights, crushing the guards of the anti-aircraft positions. At the same time, the Archaeopteryx in the air also took the opportunity to launch an attack, diving down and cruelly picking up the guards and throwing them into flesh and mud. Faced with this sudden change, the guards did not sit idly by. They quickly pulled out their submachine guns from their waist and fired fiercely at the giants. Bullet after bullet pierced through the layered flesh of the giant beast. The bullet successfully penetrated, and the beasts let out deafening howls, indicating that they had been injured. A yellow liquid flowed from the wound, which was the fat of the giant beast. These behemoths have multiple thick layers of fat, and despite the powerful penetration of submachine guns, they still cannot fully penetrate their fat layers. Although bullets caused some damage to the beasts, they did not achieve the effect of stopping their attacks. On the contrary, the injured beasts become even more violent, and their destructive power has been elevated to a whole new level. The air defense positions were further damaged. "Captain, please shoot at the giant beast." The machine gunners in the machine gun position couldn't resist anymore and applied to the squad leader for shooting. "Wait a little longer." The machine gun captain calmly refused their request. The deployed 12.7 mm caliber machine gun is definitely capable of crushing giant beasts and repelling them. The problem is that the giant beast and anti-aircraft positions are mixed together, and it is impossible to accidentally injure them. If the casualties in the air defense positions are severe, it is acceptable, and perhaps the higher authorities will handle it with tolerance. However, once those precious anti-aircraft guns and machine guns are damaged, I am afraid that I will not be able to escape heavy responsibility and may even face the fate of life imprisonment. The integrity of air defense positions is crucial. Once lost, machine gun positions will be exposed to the threat of strange birds without any cover, and the consequences will be unimaginable. Faced with such a severe situation, the captain of the machine gun decisively ordered and waited for the best opportunity. As the situation worsened, the giant beasts without machine gun cover became increasingly powerful in front of the anti-aircraft positions, and the city guards fell like fallen leaves, powerless to resist. The Archaeopteryx, which was originally suppressed in the air, began to become active again. Faced with such a scene, Li Nan, who was watching from afar, became nervous. As humans, he hopes more that humanity can win. The people in the city began to pray for the birth of the Savior. Their prayers seemed to have worked. At this moment, iron cans suddenly fell from the air from the anti-aircraft position, which was Li Nanyuan's first impression. Upon closer inspection, it was discovered that they were not tin cans, but rather armored men. Li Nanchai ignited it, mecha. One by one, the mechas are much larger than humans, but the giant beasts are still much smaller, only half the size of the giant beasts. But this cannot conceal their prestige. The mecha with rust color has the purest texture. We have everything from power arms to power helmets. These mechas carry weapons with different characteristics, such as handheld Gatling, laser weapons, and even plasma weapons. These weapons have different styles, but one thing in common is their immense power. Under the attack of the mecha, the once god of war giant beast instantly became fragile and unbearable. Gatling's bullets were like death's sickle, beating the giant beast to pieces and flying with flesh and blood. Laser weapons leave burnt black holes on the giant beast's body. The most terrifying of them is plasma weapons, which release high temperatures that directly melt the body of the giant beast into a pile of meat paste. If Li Nan gets close enough, he can smell a peculiar odor, which is a mixture of the aroma and odor emitted by the melting of oil and meat skin at high temperatures. Although the giant beast was temporarily suppressed, the Archaeopteryx in the air became even crazier. They rushed in groups towards the mecha, attempting to grab and drop it in the same way as ordinary soldiers. However, these strange birds soon discovered that their sharp claws could only leave shallow scratches on the sturdy shell of the mech. The powerful weapons of mechas will not be accustomed to them, and those who dare to attack will be shattered. Faced with the attack of the Archaeopteryx, the mecha did not panic. They use powerful weapon systems to counterattack, shattering the monster birds that dare to attack. Despite the large number of Archaeopteryx, there are always a few lucky strange birds that can catch the limited energy of mechas. These strange birds excitedly tried to take the mecha into the air, but soon found that the weight of the mecha far exceeded their imagination, making it extremely difficult for them to fly, without the ease of carrying humans. The Archaeopteryx used its strength to suckle and finally lifted itself up into the sky. The captured mecha did not lose its combat effectiveness as a result, but continued to use its powerful weapon system to counterattack the Archaeopteryx. Although these strange birds possess tenacity, even if their stomachs are pierced, they still hold onto the mecha tightly and try to fall together with it, hoping to die together. This type of suicidal attack is usually effective. This time it's different. When mechas fall, their power boots spray gas to cushion the landing speed. Despite making a loud noise during the crash, the mecha did not suffer any substantial damage. Under the extraordinary combat power of the mecha, the situation gradually reversed. T.50, T.61 Combat Mechs. The way those guys from the Steel Brotherhood appear is quite unique. Has their power radiated to this point? Ellie explained from the side. I guess it's almost over, Ollie analyzed. Is it so fast? Although the situation has reversed, there are still many strange birds in the air, and Li Nan is very skeptical of Ollie's judgment. Regarding Li Nan's questioning, Ollie did not refute anything, just quietly looked towards the direction of the Gem City. At this moment, on the other side of the Gem City, someone on the battlefield shouted, "The air defense team is counterattacking." The air defense personnel were somewhat confused by the previous chaos, but upon hearing this shout, they immediately rallied and quickly returned to their positions to reorganize their shooting against the strange birds. With the rejoining of the air defense forces, air firepower has become dense and fierce. The strange birds fell one after another under the fierce firepower, like raindrops falling from the sky. Their courage was completely shattered and they began to scatter and flee. The pitch-black sky brightened up again under the fierce firepower. On land, the giant beasts suppressed by power armor lost the cover of the Archaeopteryx and the courage to attack. They instinctively left the position to escape, but at this point, the strange birds abandoned them. Without the support of strange birds, these giant beasts can only flee randomly. But as soon as they left the anti-aircraft position, they entered the firepower range of the machine gun formation. Fire! The captain of the machine gun team issued the order without hesitation. The machine guns, which were holding back their strength, were like dragons shooting fiercely at the giant beasts. The giant beasts were beaten to death and unable to move, becoming live targets of the machine gun team and ultimately being completely eliminated. The world has returned to tranquility. Is it over? Li Nan looked at the scene before him and asked incredulously. Not yet, Ellie briefly denied. Take out your Yangtze assault rifle and stand it by the window. Li Nan was puzzled, but listening to others and having a full meal, her experienced teammates would definitely have her point. He immediately followed Ellie's instructions and mounted the Yangtze assault rifle by the window, ready for battle. Ollie also set up a PK-2000 automatic rifle and looked out the window with caution. At this point, the monster had completely dispersed, but Li Nan still felt puzzled. He didn't understand why Ollie made such a move. However, not long after, he understood Ollie's intention. At the foot of the mountain, the gate of the Gemstone City slowly opened, and the people inside the city eagerly rushed towards the outside, frantically grabbing the bodies of various monsters. During this process, people engaged in a firefight over the monster's corpse, and gunshots occasionally rang out. There are also many people who take advantage of the fire to rob. No one cares about these things at all, there is no order in the wilderness, and no one cares about the lives of others. Ollie calmly observed the infighting of these scavengers, her gaze deep and resolute. Among these scavengers, there will be some looters mixed in, Ollie reminded. Once you find someone suspected of being unfaithful to us, shoot them immediately without hesitation. Li Nan nodded to show understanding, but his heart was filled with tension. He stared closely at every scavenger, trying to identify potential threats from them. Suddenly, he noticed one of them glancing towards them, and in that moment, he felt a strong murderous aura. Although this feeling is difficult to explain with science, Li Nan's intuition tells him that this person is having an idea for him. Ollie has already reminded him to shoot. However, for someone who has not experienced such a scene, it is not easy to easily shoot a similar person. At the moment when Li Nan hesitated, the person he was staring at had already taken out an extended iron barrel rifle from his arms and aimed it at Li Nan. Li Nan was startled and instinctively wanted to pull the trigger. But it was already late, and before Li Nan could pull the trigger, the gun had already fired a bullet accurately exploded the opponent's head. "You owe me another life." "Sorry. I will pay it back." "Who wants you to return it?" After the bullet pierced through the head of the short-sighted scavenger, no one had any intention of hitting them again. Their weapons are mostly tattered and have no cover. The disadvantage is too great. It's better to grab more monster meat at this time. Maybe with good luck, we can still pick up some nuclear materials. This is a scene outside the city, while inside the city is another scene. A fully armed security team closely guards the corpses of giant beasts and strange birds in the city, and only a specialized collection team hired by Gem City dares to approach these corpses. These collection teams are very organized in collecting corpses, while there is a dedicated supervision team and accounting personnel next to them to supervise them to prevent any greedy behavior. After professional processing by the collection team, the collected bodies of strange birds and giant beasts are quickly classified, weighed, and recorded. The accuracy of these data is crucial for subsequent allocation and trading. "Are these corpses very valuable?" Li Nan asked. Ollie nodded and explained, "Of course. The meat of the strange bird is rich in nutrients, and for scavengers living at the bottom, being able to pick up meat to eat is already a rare blessing. For middle-class people, this meat is also a good supplement, and they are willing to pay a lot of bottle caps for it." "What about the giant beasts?" Li Nan looked at these monsters. Although they were all covered in meat, they were all clumps of sticky flesh, an indescribable thing. Like a skinless humanoid monster, their image of honor is difficult to associate with food. Ellie said, "Giant beasts have a thick fat layer that can be used for refining. This oil has many industrial uses, such as making candles, lubricants, etc. Of course, some poor people also use this oil to fry food." After listening to this, Li Nan couldn't resist roast. "Is it mobile tempera?" Ollie looked puzzled and said, "What?" "It's nothing." Li Nan was too lazy to explain to Ollie. At some point in his world, there was a heroic act of people frying tempura with a machine. "What about the meat of the giant beast?" "I guess the taste shouldn't be much better. Based on experience on Earth, the larger the animal's meat, the less appetizing it is. This monster feels that the meat is not delicious." "Indeed," Ellie said, "their meat is only willing to be eaten by scavengers, and middle-class people are unwilling to pay a bottle cap for it. Even the lower class are not willing to pay much for this kind of thing. However, the merchants of Gem City have many ways. I heard that someone opened a nutrition block factory and sold high-end nutrition blocks using the meat of giant beasts. I don't know what they added. These protein blocks are not easy to spoil and are quite popular among travelers and scavengers." Okay. Undoubtedly a superpower in capitalist countries, even in the apocalypse, there are still so many tricks to make money. "The most important thing is nuclear materials," said Ellie. "These mutated organisms eat and drink food and water with explosive radiation concentrations every day. Some leave behind a large amount of radiation in their bodies, while others form nuclear crystals in their bodies. These are nuclear materials. This thing is very valuable. It can be added in small amounts to food as a preservative and can last for hundreds of years. Collecting enough nuclear materials can also replenish energy for nuclear fusion batteries. Gem City will purchase these nuclear materials at a high price. For those lucky scavengers, finding some and selling them to Gem City is enough to exchange for a month's worth of living supplies. It sounds like the way the ruling class of Gem City handles spoils of war is quite humane." Li Nan's attitude towards Gem City has changed slightly. Ollie shook his head and said, "Forget it. They had tried to monopolize the spoils of war outside the city before, but couldn't suppress the desire of the lower-class residents to seize them, which led to several riots. Later, they found out that the cost of repression exceeded the revenue from recycling, so they opened up access to the spoils of war. What are they doing now? Li Nan asked curiously. Now they require residents to pay 20% of the corresponding value of bottle caps as taxes, while nuclear materials must be sold to Gem City, Ali explained. In this way, Gem City actually earns the highest income. Li Nan shook his head and sighed, I see. Haha. Don't forget that we were the largest capitalist country before the war. Ali blinked at Li Nan and said, the order has stabilized. Let's go to the city. During their conversation, they had already arrived at the foot of the mountain in Gem City. The huge stone walls of the gemstone city caught the eye, and it was obvious that these walls were not pre-war products. Before the war, Xingqiao Kingdom did not have such an architectural tradition. This type of stone city wall was more like a post-war construction, and no one knows who the builder was. There are guards standing at the city gate, holding rifles and wearing armor made of iron sheets, lined with pre-war bulletproof vests. This kind of equipment may seem comical before the war, but it appears particularly practical in the wasteland after the war. Most people use rusty iron pistols and homemade earth bullets, and iron plates can effectively defend against these bullets. If you think that the defense strength of Gem City is just that, then you are completely wrong. The huge Maxim rotating machine gun was placed on the top of the city, enough to deter anyone with ulterior motives. Do you have any documents? The guard stopped the two people. No, we are wasteland merchants, Ali replied. Travelers. Where are your Brahmins? The guard continued to ask. Travelers on wasteland usually carry a mutated two-headed cow called a Brahmin to transport goods. Ellie made up a set of arguments. We encountered a predator, and the caravan was robbed, leaving only the two of us and a batch of high-value goods. We plan to bring these goods to the Jewel City for sale. Traveling merchants. The guard glanced at the two of them and said, I think you are raiders. The raiders you robbed in the story you just told, are you? Is there any difference? Ali took out a can and a small bag of bottle caps from her waist and handed them to the guard. Please hand over the goods I brought to the company's food department manager, Oat. I think he will be interested. Chapter 9. Getting Rich. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The guard took the bottle cap bag given by Ali and shook it, showing a satisfied expression. You understand the rules very well, but I don't want to earn your money for no reason. I am Harry, the captain of the security team. I will do things when I receive money, and I won't charge you for things I can't do. What do you want to sell to the company? Can of Brahmins. Ali did not mention canned beef. Cattle, as a pre-war creature, have long been lost, and now only the two-headed cattle that have mutated due to radiation are left. The abandoned people call them Brahmins. Gradually, the name Nyo was also forgotten by people, and only a few knowledgeable people and ghosts knew this name. Then I advise you not to waste money. Canned Brahmins are not a fancy ingredient, and that fat guy Holt won't be interested. Captain Harry, upon hearing that it was just a canned Brahmins, looked regretfully at the bottle cap he had already obtained. Brahmins are not high-end ingredients. But I can guarantee that my Brahmin can is different from ordinary Brahmins, it is absolutely high-quality Brahmins. You can give it to the purchasing department to try, and they will definitely praise it, Ali insisted. No way. Manager Oat has now been promoted to the management level, and it's not like me to disturb him casually. If I go find him with ingredients like Brahmin, he will definitely curse at me if he's not satisfied. I'm old and don't want to be scolded. Besides, you said this Brahmin can is different from a regular can. Just open your mouth and say whatever you want. I haven't eaten it before, how can you make me believe it? Harry glanced at the Brahmin can as he spoke, rubbing his thumb and index finger. Li Nan on the side immediately understood the meaning of the captain and took out 2 cans from his bag. "Captain Harry, you can try them. I believe you will immediately understand how our cans are different," he said. Li Nan took out a can and made it look like it was about to be opened. "Alright, there's no need to open it," Harry interrupted him. "Give me those 2 cans, and I'll take them home to open and taste them myself." "No problem, Captain Harry." Li Nan didn't open the can anymore, but handed Harry both cans together. Harry took the can and handed one of the bottles to another guard, saying, "Bore. The most accurate evaluation is democracy. Here's this can for you, and I'll ask you for your evaluation of the can to show my fairness." "Yes, thank you, Captain Harry." Ball took the can and saluted, happily stuffing the can brought by Li Nan into his clothes. "Alright, you guys wait here. I'll go find Holt, but don't hold on to too much hope. This chubby guy is very picky, and there are so many merchants lining up to supply the company with ingredients," Harry said. "I understand," Li Nan responded. "Bore, find a place for them to sit." "Yes, Captain." Ball led the 2 of them to a lounge. Saying it's a lounge, it's actually a simple outdoor shed with a few chairs inside. But even if the shed is broken, it can still provide shade, better than peeling off from the sun. The sun here is quite scorching. After leading the 2 to the lounge, Bor poured a glass of water for each of them. "You're really amazing," I didn't even understand what he meant. Ollie didn't know if it was a compliment or a mockery. Believe it or not, I really hope I don't understand these things. This is also a way of survival, there's nothing bad about it. Living on the wasteland is the most important thing. I've been to the Gem City so many times, and with your blessing, this is the first time a guard has poured water for me. Ollie drank water and blinked at him. "I think you're praising me." Li Nan poured water onto the ground after the guards left. "He dares not drink the water given by the guards. All he gives is slightly green radiating water, with 20 caps per bottle of clean pure water, which is considered a high-end item. It's not something that ordinary guards can afford on a daily basis, let alone for Li Nan." The scorching sun made him feel thirsty. He took out a bottle of pure water from his backpack, opened it, and drank it. The refreshing water flowed down his throat, making him feel refreshed. In the apocalypse, Li Nan can always feel happiness that cannot be felt in the original world, such as drinking water. But happiness passed by in a flash, and Li Nan regretted drinking bottled water in this simple outdoor shed. This is the lower urban area, and the clean glass bottled water quickly caught the attention of the residents. These attention points are filled with envy, doubt, and more importantly, malice. If it weren't for the broad daylight and being in the city, Li Nan suspected that someone was taking action now. Fortunately, it is currently daytime and within the city, and the security of Gemstone City is of a very good level in the wasteland. Even in the lower urban area, there are fully armed patrol teams patrolling the roads. I don't worry at all about anyone daring to take action on the street, but that's not necessarily the case at night. Next time you drink water, you need to pour it into a kettle. While thinking about such things, I was also thinking about what was happening with Captain Harry. Will Manager Holt be satisfied with his canned beef? On the other side, Harry found the company hotel with canned beef. Since that fat guy Holt became the manager of the food procurement department, he has been hanging out in the hotel every day, which has made Harry envious. I obtained the room where Oates stayed today from the hotel security guard, 202. Normally, hotels do not disclose guest housing information, but Harry is different. The security of the company's hotel is under the jurisdiction of the city guard. The person on duty today is Harry's former subordinate, and of course, there are 2 important reasons. One is the relationship between Oat and Harry. Everyone in the security team knows that they grew up together from a young age. Additionally, Harry is staying in a regular room, not a VIP room. If it's a VIP room, even Harry, the security guard, wouldn't dare to reveal the guest's information. This is the rule. Of course, Harry will not idle around to inquire about the information of the VIPs. Being able to stay in the VIP room of the Gem City itself is a symbol of strength. In addition to money, staying in a VIP room also requires points. Arriving at the entrance of room 202, there was a blazing sound coming from inside. Damn it, this chubby guy, Harry cursed softly and slammed the door of room 202. Who? Me. Who are you? An impatient voice came from inside. Open the door quickly, chubby guy. I've brought you business. Am I not loud enough? Can't you hear me busy? The infuriating sound inside grew louder and louder. You open the door for me, otherwise I'll tear down your door. Please ask your fat lady to listen to whether the sound here is loud or not. Bastard, you bastard. The voice stopped, followed by Holt's curses. The door opened and a chubby face squeezed out. Harry pushed open the door and walked in. Inside was a bed with two slender young girls lying on it, wearing electronic collars around their necks. These were slaves kept by the company to expand the hotel's revenue sources. Let them go out, I have business to talk to you about. I spent money on them, can't you wait for me to finish things? Holt looked at Harry very dissatisfied. I said I have business to talk to you about. Don't worry, you won't regret it. Okay. If you're not satisfied with me, you'll pay me for today's money. Oat waved his hand, and the two girls put on their clothes to cover the vital parts and walked out of the room. A businessman came today to sell me Brahmin cans, Harry said. Ken Brahmin. Hoth, who was already unhappy about being interrupted with a happy event, suddenly turned very ugly. Harry, have you had any mental problems? Suddenly, you came in to interrupt my good deed just to sell me a Ken Brahmin. I'm doing it for your own good. I heard that the hotel is hosting a special guest, and the management is very dissatisfied with the recent ingredients. If they are not satisfied, you, the newly appointed food department manager, will not be able to sit steadily. So what? Hort, who had been poked in pain, slammed out of bed in frustration. Are you planning to have the VIPs of the company hotel order a can of Brahmin at the banquet? Yes, that's what I planned. Are you crazy? How much money did you take from them and waste my time here? You opened the can first before expressing your opinion. Hart was mocked and suppressed his anger. Before, he would definitely give this chubby guy a kick, but now it's different. He has been promoted to the position of food department manager, which is one level higher than his own security team captain. Forget it. Even if I don't open it, you won't leave. Holt shook his head helplessly. He knew Hart's temper very well, and if he didn't taste it today, he probably wouldn't leave. Just give it a try. Holt opened the pull ring without hope, but the moment it was pulled open, he was shocked. A strong and pure aroma of meat rushed in, and he had never smelled such a fragrant Brahmin can before. Not to mention canned food, even the top meat Brahmins did not have such a smell. As for the taste of this canned meat, it is even more perfect, with delicate meat texture and strange aroma, absolutely top-notch. How's it going? Hurry up, let him come see me quickly. Oat excitedly patted the bed again and rolled off. I didn't expect to make so much money, Li Nan said, holding a check from a gemstone bank with 10,000 bottle caps written on it. I never thought, 500 bottle caps per can. Ollie carried a bag full of bottle caps and said, you really made a fortune. Chapter 10. Seeing the Gem City. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The company dog is really his mother rich. Ollie looked excited at the pile of bottle caps. Li Nan knew that canned beef would definitely be popular in the apocalypse and could sell for a good price, and he already had a relatively high expectation in his heart. But what he didn't expect was that canned beef would be so popular in the apocalypse, far exceeding his expectations. The hotel food procurement manager, Oat, forgot to wear his shoes and ran to see Li Nan. This can was wholesale by Li Nan from Duo Duo, with a price of 15.8 per bottle. Based on the price of 20 caps per bottle of ice and dew, Li Nan's psychological expectation is 320 caps. I originally thought that if it was lower than this amount, I would have to negotiate. As a result, Oat surprisingly quoted a price of 450 bottle caps. At this moment, Li Nan was completely lost and fell silent for a moment. Li Nan's silence alarmed Hyut, thinking that Li Nan felt the price was low. He directly moved out the unit price of 500 bottle caps with his highest personal authority, and proposed that no kickbacks were required. This made Li Nangui feel embarrassed to accept this price. And actively compromise, stating that the rebate does not need to be waived and must be given. This time, Li Nan brought 2 boxes of canned goods with a total of 28 bottles, sold 26 bottles, and earned 14,000 bottle caps. 4,000 bottle caps are paid for by food, and 10,000 bottle caps are paid by company bank check. After receiving the bottle caps, Li Nan insisted on returning 1,400 bottle caps to Manager Oat with a 10% rebate according to the hidden rules of Gem City. Manager Oat gladly accepted this payment after pretending to evade it a few times. In addition, Li Nan also took out 700 bottle caps as a gift to the security team Captain Hart. After receiving this unexpected income, Hart was even more overjoyed and said that Li Nan was his brother. He would definitely help if there was anything he could do for the Gem City in the future. After a series of operations, Li Nan ended up with 11,900 bottle caps remaining. We have money now. Ali held on to a pile of bottle caps, his excitement continuing for a long time. To be precise, there is a bottle cap. Li Nan was not as excited as Ali. He originally attempted to have the company's personnel pay this amount with a certain amount of gold, but was rejected as the company had no option to pay with gold. According to company employees, gold is not considered valuable, so the company's finance department will not retain gold as currency. In Li Nan's opinion, since the abandoned land does not recognize the value of gold, then gold should be everywhere and easy to exchange. However, reality is completely different from Li Nan's expectations, as gold in the entire Gem City is scarce. So far, the only bit of gold that Li Nan has obtained is a gold-plated windproof lighter that Captain Harry gave him. Although it is exquisitely crafted, the pitiful gold content may not be worth much to monetize. Many things are like this, with high value on the shelves. When you spend money to take them off the shelves and want to sell them, the price will plummet. Alas, I came to Diamond City and didn't get any gold. Li Nan was a little disappointed. Don't be unhappy, Ali read Li Nan's thoughts. Don't think bottle caps are useless. Here, bottle caps are money. It seems like I need to show you the purchasing power of bottle caps. Okay, take me to take a look. Li Nan agreed to Ali's invitation, and he really wanted to see what the wasteland city looked like. Under the leadership of Ali, the first person to arrive was the downtown area. The environment in the lower urban area is quite harsh, with yellow-skinned scavengers everywhere, and the roadside is mostly filled with randomly built shanties, which have poor privacy. You can see what the people inside are doing at a glance from outside. Walking on the roadside is basically equivalent to live broadcasting the various aspects of life for the poor in the abandoned land. Most of the things in the shed are trivial, some are eating the purchased nutrients quickly, some are treating new wounds with gunpowder, and of course, occasionally one can also glimpse restricted items in Li Nan's native world. The post-apocalyptic people in the lower urban area feel nothing ashamed of being seen, they can stand on the street and admire. Li Nan did not do such a thing. From shock to numbness, it only took 5 minutes. I have to lament that humans have a strong ability to accept new environments. I looked around and was pulled by Ali to a food vending point with the company's logo hanging. The company's food sales point. The vast majority of people in the lower urban area buy their food here, Ellie explained. Li Nan looked at the clearly visible price list, which was clear and concise. Primary nutrition blocks, 5 bottle caps, intermediate nutrition blocks with 10 bottle caps, and advanced nutrition blocks with 20 bottle caps. What is the difference between these three? The soil content is different. You asked the right person this question. I used to work in a food factory, and these nutritional blocks are made by mixing mushrooms, meat, and edible soil. There is a lot of low-grade nutrient soil, very little meat, and almost no mushrooms. There is less soil and more meat in the intermediate nutrient block, mixed with some mushrooms. Advanced nutritional blocks are more conscientious, the proportion of soil has decreased significantly, there is also a lot of meat, and there are also many more mushrooms. It basically matches its name, mushrooms. Waste soil is constantly exposed to radiation and permanently damages the natural environment, making it difficult for the soil to grow normal crops, and mushrooms are no exception. Li Nan is very strange why ingredients like mushrooms are used in nutritional blocks. Well, to be precise, it's shiitake mushrooms. There's a corroding farm nearby that cultivates a type of mushroom with decaying meat, which is very nutritious and delicious. In the upper city area, you can eat pure meat burgers made from fresh shiitake mushrooms, said Ollie. Hamburg. Can Gem City grow wheat? No, Ellie shook her head. Wheat has long been extinct, using flour ground from green corn. Green corn is obtained from the ghoul farm. In the high radiation area, there are ghoul farms where radiation crops can be grown on the land. This mutated crop prefers high radiation land, but the crops it grows are low radiation. It's amazing, the favorite of people in Shangqing district, with a taste similar to corn, so it's called green corn. This kind of thing is terrifyingly expensive, retail price, 1,000 bottle caps for 100 grams, said Ollie with a completely unaffordable expression. How much is the hamburger you just mentioned? 1,500 bottle caps. 3 low-level nutritional blocks are the daily food cost for a person in the lower urban area, which is 15 bottle caps. 1,500 bottle caps are equivalent to 3 months of food expenses for urban residents. I gave Ollie a hamburger worth 3 months of food expenses. No wonder the little girl snapped at herself so excitedly. Li Nan wanted a rich woman to give him 3 months of food expenses, and he also wanted to rush up and take a sip. Thinking of this, Li Nan couldn't help but smile. Uncle. What did you think of, laughing so lewdly? Ollie rolled her eyes. No, Li Nan immediately denied. Forget it. I'm too lazy to argue with the sleazy uncle. I've spent most of my time in the downtown area, let's go to the central area, said Ollie. There is a crane in the central square of the downtown area. After paying 20 bottle caps, I boarded a crane and arrived at the central urban area. The middle and lower urban areas are connected, so you only need to spend 10 bottle caps. The restriction of 20 bottle caps has made the distinction between Xiaoqing district and Zhongqing district distinct. The poor in the lower urban area will not spend a day's food money running to the middle urban area. Of course, some people may think of staying in the central urban area instead of settling down, so they can stay there forever. Unfortunately, this is impossible as people without a fixed place of residence will be expelled at night. The central urban area looks much better than the lower urban area, from the perspective of the wasteland people. For Li Nan, it can only be said that the good is limited. The houses on the roadside are all made up of containers and waste wooden boards. What's better than in the downtown area is at least having a shelter from wind and rain to protect privacy and maintain basic human dignity. The food available in the central urban area is better than that in the lower urban area. In addition to the company's food distributors, there are also outdoor small restaurants that sell some secondary processed food, the most common of which is stir-fried nutritional blocks. This type of food is made from intermediate nutritional blocks and stir-fried in a pot with unknown fat sold by the company, sprinkled with a little bit of mushroom pellets, and served on a plate. It is the most popular food in the central urban area. Li Nan finds it difficult to understand the significance of stir-frying this green nutrient block, as eating it hot will only make its strange smell even more strange. But the middle class in the central urban area are very fond of this kind of food, paired with a free cup of micro-water, priced at 13 bottle caps. After observing the diet in the central urban area, Li Nan still did not have any impulse to consume bottle caps. Don't you have the idea of trying stir-frying nutritional chunks? Ali asked Li Nan as she arrived at the food stall. To be honest, not at all, Li Nan shook his head truthfully. Okay, I quite enjoyed it for a while. Well, Li Nan looked at Ali with sympathy, it's really hard in the wasteland world. Only Lu Yong can possibly eat fried nutritional chunks. After strolling around the central urban area, Ali finally took Li Nan to a serious place, the weapons store opened by the company. Weapons are sold here. This time, Li Nan finally witnessed the function of bottle caps. 200 rounds of 10mm bullets, 107.62mm steel core bullets, 10 rounds of 12.7mm armor-piercing shells, 10 fragmentation grenades. Li Nan saw Ali bring out a box of ammunition and grenades. A total of 7,000 bottle caps. It's really expensive. Ali looked heartbroken. It's really cheap. Li Nan had a completely different idea. 7,000 bottle caps, 14 cans of beef, wholesale price of 15.8 per can for Mujuoduo, which is just over 200 yuan. Sleeping trough, if we resell it to Africa, it won't be able to increase several times. Of course, Li Nan is still very clear-headed, which is impossible. If you want to have the way to sell weapons in Africa, why worry about money? Can I pay with a check from the company's bank? Li Nan asked. Of course. The cashier at the weapons store had a particularly good attitude, and she received a commission for every sale. This is a big client, not to mention a smiling face. If it weren't for seeing a female companion, she would have wanted to ask where this client stays at night. As long as you come to her for ammunition in the future, she is willing to do anything. Do you have any procedures to go through? I will do it for you, as long as you are responsible for signing, said the cashier with a big wave, maintaining her sweet smile before operating the terminal at the front desk. The shops in the central urban area are all connected to electricity and equipped with terminals. The cashier operated the terminal and said, "Sir, this is an anonymous check. The company does not have your data. Do you need to provide an identification document in the company?" Bruce Lee, Ali said first, while Li Nan was still considering creating a fake name for himself. Bruce Lee. Okay. Yes, Bruce Lee, Li Nan said with a smile. Okay, Mr. Lee. Would you like me to collect your DNA information? The cashier asked. After we collect your DNA information, there is no risk of theft in all of your services in the company. No, it's not necessary. There's no need to collect any information. Mr. Lee doesn't want to be disturbed, Ali said earlier this time. The cashier looked at Li Nan. Yes, my niece is right, Li Nan said with a smile. Laughing, tears are about to come out. It hurts, my thighs are pinched. Is it a niece? It sounds like I still have a chance. I'll see which hotel he stays at tonight and climb his bed to see. When registering information, the cashier's big wave girl had a little calculation in her mind. Okay, I understand. The girl is not too strange. People who spend so much money at a weapons store have mysterious identities and do not trust the company. Your information has been archived in the company's database, Mr. Lee. You spent 7,000 bottle caps in the company and earned 7,000 consumption points. You are now a blue card member. By spending 3,000 more bottle caps, you can enjoy the highest level of black card membership. What are the benefits of a black card membership? Open up shops and hotels in the upper city area and enjoy company protection, the girl said. However, if you refuse to retain information, the company cannot provide you with protection. What do you mean? Li Nan asked. Having a black card has many conveniences, Ali said in a casual tone. Can I make a decision later? Of course you can. However, If you do this, we will first give you a blue card. After you meet the black card points requirements, if you exchange the blue card for a black card, we will charge you a processing fee. If you apply for a black card directly now, there will be no processing fee. What is the cost of production? Replacing a blue card with a black card costs 1,000 bottle caps.